Welcome to the Smash Masters podcast, hosted by Stefan Eschi and Nick Priest. This is where we dig into the auto body collision repair field and talk quality repair methods and how the industry is always changing. Buckle up, it gon' get bumpy.
Well, good afternoon.
Hey.
Good afternoon, Cass. What's going on?
Cass is in here already. Hey, what's up?
Popped in, first one.
Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's everybody doing?
Hope everybody's doing pretty good. Extra hot outside, so.
Oh, yeah?
They're outside, man. Stay hydrated. Yeah, man.
Not here.
It's not there?
No, not really. Maybe in the middle of the day. Excuse me. But yeah. No, it's getting pretty cool. I mean, I think my car said it was like 50 degrees when I was driving in.
Really?
It's
I don't know. It's off. It feels like it's off the charts. It may not actually be. It may just be because I just don't like the heat. But it seems hot.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah,
I definitely believe it.
Well, anyways, what's been going on with you?
Not much. Just just started my second week at the new job. And starting to get a feel for how they do things and stuff. And it's going good. It's going really good. It's good to be working again.
Oh yeah, getting back into the groove of doing traditional body work and
What's
stuff
up,
like
Nick?
that.
Yeah,
Nick
I bet it's
Van
hot
Hook.
down there.
What's going on, buddy? Doing that hell grind. I bet there's a lot down there to do, huh?
Nice, Dan. Writing some hail. Nice. Lucky you. I wouldn't mind somebody calling me with a hail job.
Oh, really? I've been writing a bunch myself, but actually we just had a hailstorm come through close to where I live. So might be getting a lot more.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice,
it's about
definitely.
dang time. Yeah, for really. It's it's fun. It's good. It does get old. It doesn't take it long, but or working on the same vehicle, especially if you got big nasty ones.
Did you finish up that one you were working on? It was a Camaro, right?
I didn't finish it up all the way. I still have to do a quarter, but I didn't even go over there and work today. I did other stuff today, but yeah, that roof job was it was something else.
No, I bet you sent me pictures. I was like, damn, dude. It needs a roof.
Well, I'm sure down in Texas, those guys handle stuff like that all the time. But for me personally, that's about as big a one as I've gotten a hold of, and it's pretty nasty.
Yeah. Even Dan said it looked nasty. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nasty. Yep.
Yeah, it felt it too. I each one of those gigantic dents, I'm like, yeah, this is really nasty. But
So could you glue pull at all first, the bigger ones, to move some metal, or?
you could have if you wanted to, but the roof had been painted once before already.
Better safe than sorry then.
So I mean, I did glue pull a lot of the rails dents and stuff, and nothing broke loose. And I
Okay.
was ripping on some of them just to see if it would even let go, but nah, nothing broke loose so far. But I had a few baseball looking size dents on there. I just used sharp tools and kind of picked it up.
I'm gonna have to learn that method. You were telling me about with using sharp tools to shrink the metal. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that's blowing my mind. So it's something I'm gonna be researching and practicing on my time.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just, kind of like rip it, but yeah, you can
No, I'm
stick a
sure.
sharp tip tool on there and do a little massage into it, and a lot of it comes up pretty quick, but um,
Hmm.
it'll get to a point to where it kind of stop, and then you just kind of manipulate it around.
Hey, there's
What's
Gene.
going on?
What's up, Gene?
How you doing today? So yeah, um,
Well, that's good. That's good. They got
yeah,
me
yeah.
doing. They
Go
got me
ahead.
doing lots of the big repairs at this.
I
So
seen
I
that.
mean, yeah. I mean, at first it was just put this together and just take care of these dents down this side, and then oh, we have this van. Swipe down the whole side, and it's all repair. Here you
Yeah,
go. Okay, that's the kind of stuff I like, So and then next one it's caved in quarter panels, and it even says has an X on it, but then that was like X'd out, and I don't know their markings yet, so I was like, is it a replace? And he's like, nah, we're fixing it. I'm like, awesome. I'm like, awesome. But I mean, coast to coast quarter panel on a Chevy Cruze, and then half the door too, and some dings on the front door.
yeah.
It's just repair, 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 repair. Um, but
So
that's what I like.
is
So
it glue pull repair or just traditional all the way?
a little bit of both because I'm not set up in my element yet, really, to be doing some glue pulls. I'll tell you, I'm missing my Kiko set.
Mm,
My Kiko set, the Kiko set at the shop I used to work at, and every time I look at something, I'm like, man, I just grab the Caterpillar.
there's no
No,
caterpillars.
no, there's no K
No,
bar, no
no
K
centipede
beam,
tabs, no K beams.
no
Um,
caterpillars, centipedes. I've
yeah.
said caterpillar. But
Um,
you knew what
so
I meant.
so no Kiko system. I said Kit on the last one with Danny, and I thought he was going to come and do like a Diamond Dallas Page on me. So you got to make sure to keep it system.
Ooh, yeah, that's definitely a system, not a kit.
Yeah.
We have the Baytag kit.
Oh, is it a kit or is it a system too?
I would call it a kit,
Really,
honestly. I mean,
really.
if it's in a thing,
Yeah.
maybe they sell something bigger. But I'll tell you, the Baytag light that we have is phenomenal. I mean, it is really nice. I'd say it's probably like 36 inches, three lights, and there are buttons on the back to change them from cool to warm individually, and it's got a built-in battery, so it comes with an AC adapter for the wall, but it's just to charge it.
Oh, so he went up and got the battery one. That's nice.
It's a really nice light, the Baytag light. So
Yeah.
if someone's on the fence about that particular one, I'd say go ahead and get it. The stand is nice too. The feet are adjustable, so that if you need to get it close to the vehicle, you kind of have to kick the feet in instead of
Yeah.
twisting the light stand. It's a little different, but I mean it's having no issues with it.
Mm.
So yeah, I like the light. That's for sure. Um,
So
and
Baytag's good on the light, huh? Okay.
Yeah, and they might be good on the tools too. I haven't had enough time to really mess around with them too much. So
Yeah, I use the bridge style puller they have. Well, it's not a bridge puller. It's kind of like Cam Auto's mini lifter, the one with the adjustable feet. Um,
yes,
yeah,
I
I've
did
used
play
that
with
one.
that.
It's pretty good. It's pretty
Yeah,
good.
yep. No, I did play with that a little bit once, and yeah, it worked.
Hmm.
It worked as a lifter. Then I did use their flatliner. which is the welding of the keys
Yeah.
on. So like I said, I was out of my element with the glue. So when I switch to what I really know. This is the traditional, and they have these like pristine, brand new Baytag flatliners, and there's an aluminum one and a steel one. So I rolled the steel one right over. Everyone's looking at me like, "We, huh? No one uses that, you know." But I plug it in, and it's very easy to use. I mean, it says what to do on the screen. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
it was super easy. There's a button on the thing. It's easy to hold. There's a slide hammer thing. There's a shrinking. Everything's right there on that, and even the way it puts the keys on. I don't know. Did you ever use that thing where it loads the keys itself for each key?
I never used it.
Oh, it's
But
so cool.
well, he got the kit that whatever kit system. He got the adapter for that loads the keys, and it looked like it was pretty cool. But
You're making fun of me.
the caterpillar tabs,
Caterpillar tabs. Now there's going to be a new tab called the Caterpillar tabs.
will they
It's
be
gonna,
yellow?
it'll be like curved or something. Yellow? No, no.
Yeah, I didn't really get to play with it, but in the demo class that I went through with Baytag, I did get to kind of fiddle with it then a little, but not in actual work. I didn't get to use it. Seemed like it was cool though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep. No. So I've been playing with that, and yeah, I really like it. It's got this, like I was talking about, the keys is self loading. So the system I was using with keys, it was a dent puller, and you change the end of it where you slide the key into the dent the new dent puller end that accept the keys to weld them on the panel individually. You load one, put it on, load it, put it on.
Hmm.
This flatliner's got a thing where right on the end of your dent puller, you put this contraption on, and it's got a bunch of keys loaded into it. And one of them's sticking out, so you touch it to the panel, you hit the button, welds that key on, you pull it off, it's off. Then you take the whole contraption you got your hand on and just chick chick. It's like a reload.
Hmm.
And then there's a new key sticking out. Boop, chick chick, boop, chick chick, boop. It's literally just I'm just laying out keys right in the body line. It was really super easy,
I think it
and
holds 25, if I'm not
something.
mistaken.
Yeah, yeah. It was
So
it was really nice. I was like,
yeah.
this is what the other systems are missing.
Did you know that you can weld those keys to each other as well?
For what purpose?
Well, it just if you had for whatever reason had to have an extended version of a key,
Okay.
like you can weld a key to a tab or to the vehicle, and then you can weld a key tab to that key tab for whatever reason. Just say you had like a
I don't see
really
why not.
deep dent or whatever, but it works.
Okay. Okay. Or
So,
if that's what you need in order to get your leverage to catch it,
yeah,
you need to bring
yeah.
it out further or something. I get it. I get it. Interesting.
Yeah, or if it's like a way over there spot, then your bridge doesn't make it or something, you need to add some extra links. You can weld a key to a key.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm. It's,
Um. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's kind of cool. I don't really know. I didn't ever use it, but I did it one time anyway.
If I have to, I'm gonna keep that in mind now. Um.
At least go try it.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? Just welding keys to keys.
They already look at me crazy for grabbing the flatliner system.
Yeah, weld about
Yeah.
6 keys to each other.
Mm, that's yeah. Just sticking and make it like a U.
Every
It's off
collision's
on my foot.
different. Yeah, it does. It does, and it requires a lot of out of box thinking.
That's absolutely true. I mean, I was talking about that with. So I mean, another thing about this places that they have a truck side, the heavy duty.
Hmm.
So I was talking to a heavy duty guy, and I was telling him, I'm like, yeah, even after all this time, I still come up to a dent and I go, man, how the hell am I gonna fix this? You know, so
Yeah.
and he goes, yeah, same thing with me. These trucks. Sometimes I see something, I'm like, man, how the hell are we gonna fix this, or how are my guys gonna fix this? So it definitely it takes a certain mindset to just go and attack pretty much anything that's put in front of you. Because I don't know what I'm gonna do tomorrow.
You
I know
can't
I'm gonna
really worry
fix.
about it either.
Oh no,
You
absolutely not.
you can't get hung up on how are you going to fix it. You just kind of have to go along and take what you've learned over the years and just apply some of them, and maybe some of them don't work, and you go, okay, well, we'll go this route then.
It's still a healthy reaction to have to when you first see the damage and go, oh shoot, how am I going to do this? It's
Hmm.
but then I mean, it's more for me. It's a question of I'm thinking like, do I pull here? Do I push there? What do I do here? Like not like I'm screwed. Like, I'm not worried. At that point, it's just how am I going to do this? I got to do this. So
Yeah, I got to figure something out.
yeah. And then in my experience, and the experience is what gives you the confidence, and the experience tells me that as soon as I start messing with it, it's just gonna boop, 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 it just come right into place. It just things just tend to want to get put back if you know where to start.
Yeah, especially when you start unlocking metal that's
Right.
below the actual appearance part of the vehicle, down like behind bumpers and stuff.
Hmm.
Sometimes a lot of trapped metals right there, and while the outside might look good, you're just not really fully getting it, and you got to work down below a little bit and untrap that.
Yep.
Everything seems to work out, but it's one of those things, you got to try different things and see what works,
Hmm.
because you don't really know every situation,
Hmm.
and
No,
you got a
absolutely.
good idea of what you can do, but it's just an idea or thought process until you try it.
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And that's one of the reasons why I decided to lean towards this place is that they seem to want to try new methods and stuff. So they're actually set up with a teardown department, or they call it repair plan
mm,
department, and it's pretty cool. I mean I get something and it's torn down. All the parts are on a rack that I pull over. They're all labeled. New
is this
parts.
like a innovative tools rack, or they have
Yeah.
something different? Innovative
Innov-
tools.
yep. Yep. All
Okay,
red innovative tools rack.
nice.
Parts are matched and on the cart. Fasteners are in bags and labeled. Um, and everything's right there on the cart. I mean, even the parts that I'm going to be repairing. So when I pull the cart over, everything's right there. And that the whole process just makes my job so smooth.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it is.
I love watching Bryce Kelly's videos.
Yeah, he's got some really good stuff. And a lot of stuff that he's doing is really collision methods, old school collision methods, and of course we never really used glue and straps. We always just used weld clamps or something like that. But repairing that stuff with all the paint and stuff still intact and slicking it out is just freaking nuts. It is crazy.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, I'll switch over to learning PDR. I look at a dent and I'm saying, how am I going to do this? I really am a little worried. I'll tell you, but it's healthy because it gives me the motivation, to get better and everything. Yep, yeah, and Cass, yeah, that's a great place to start, Cass. So that's another thing. So I'm already hearing stories from people that I work with that told me, yeah, I started in repair planning and then I moved over into this team and then I moved up to this team and that's where I am now and I'm learning this. And it's like, God, I love that. They're promoting you, not in that sense, but in the sense of growth, culture.
Yeah, so they don't just sell you a promotion; they actually promote you.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's
right.
nice.
Yeah. No,
That's always good.
it seems, yeah. I'm very impressed so far. I missed something here. Oh, yep, yep. No, and that's what I'm learning. So
Good repair methods are
I
always a benefit to have, and especially in PDR, you kind of have the same um, type of method program that you come up with to approach a dent, and every one of them is a little bit different depending on who you are. I might fix a dent one way, you might approach it another way, but um, whatever you're comfortable with, and whatever works. So good
right.
methods.
I
And
mean, so that's how I'm attacking what I'm doing now. Is I don't take on things that I know are out of my reach at this point.
mhm.
And I don't want to go around making a bad name for myself by trying to take on something that's above my level. Yeah, so uh, right out of the bone, I don't give an estimate on that stuff. And I said there might be somebody that can do it. I can even recommend some people that are local, but I'm gonna pass. I don't feel comfortable with it. And eventually, I'm gonna have to drop that more and more. My limitations are bigger and bigger, and they're already bigger than I thought they would ever be. I'm taking care of some stuff that I'm just like, wow.
Pretty nice. Yeah, it's
you know,
yeah, it's always good to get wins under your belt. That to me is what makes you grow, makes your confidence grow. Um, Anytime you can get something and accomplish it, man, it just fires you up to want to do more.
hmm,
And that's kind of what I started doing with PDR, even learning it in the body shop. Same way, I got to where I really couldn't um, really fix anything. I mean, I could push it up and give it the measles,
hmm,
but
hmm,
I didn't really have when you're buying and learning knockdowns, what to use and when to use, where to use what. Um, you kind of don't know what you can and can't do with them until you get time behind it. And
hmm,
trying to keep stuff pushed up clean versus, pushing it too high, knocking down, how use blending hammers, when to use stuff, round tips versus flat, learning all that. It, I learned all that stuff using on used doors. So it
yeah.
really didn't matter if I messed it up versus if a guy starts out in PDR, well, I guess that would be a little more stressful, I would think.
Sure, sure. I mean, I'll tell you, learning body work was more stressful for me than learning PDR just because it was first. You know what I mean? And it's because I went through that this part of learning PDR where I don't know really
Hmm.
what I'm doing 100% yet. It makes it easier because I know that there's a growth period and it takes time. So I'm not getting super frustrated. I just, got to put in more time. Got to put in more time. Over the weekend, I was out in the garage pushing out dents and pulling out dents, and and challenging myself more and more. You know, um,
Where do you feel like you're at on challenging yourself right now?
I want to start really playing with these stretch dents. Like I said, I want to research what you were talking about using sharp tools. on stretch dents, because that's really the only thing that kind of scares me going out and doing retail work is so far so good.
Mm,
It's I've been able to deal with things. I mean, the only I had something that was floppy on me, but it wasn't really stretched. It was just displaced metal. So as I was repairing it, it stiffened up, and I knew it would because I can read that kind of stuff.
mm,
But it's that's really what it is. And then honestly, I gotta pick up a CBH 200 and just start playing with shrinking on the backside. I started playing with it in the body shop using a carbon shrinking
mm.
rod, and I turned the machine all the way down. I go on the back and I start messing with it, and I turn it up a little bit and see what it does to the paint. And honestly, you can't turn it up at all. None of them. It has to be on the lowest setting to not do anything or not do anything noticeable to the paint. Because if you look, it
Yeah.
is still you could see where it's doing it from the outside.
Hmm.
But afterwards, if you try and point them out, you're not gonna find them. So
Yeah, it's very very minute, and you got to kind of be quick with it. But
yeah. Yeah,
um,
it's very interesting when I found out that that's how PDR techs were shrinking their stuff. And now, I mean, I've got Nick telling me he's doing it with sharp tools. I'm like, well,
well, I'm
man,
not saying that's like the only way, but that's the only way that I have to do them right now.
no, I understand, and
And
that's what I want to
yeah,
learn.
yeah, yeah. I would like to have a shrinking tool to do that with. I think it would make a lot of this stuff probably way easier. I don't know. I've never really used a shrinking box in the PDR world. I've just used it in collision.
Mm.
So um I don't really know how well I would do with that, honestly.
It's interesting because it's from the way it was explained to me. I mean, it's really just about getting a few zaps in there
Yeah.
and then letting it do its thing. Um, I mean, maybe we're just impatient in the body shop because we heat the hell out of it and then cool the hell out of it.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, we're also dealing with stuff that's like dong dong dong.
Yeah,
Not a
it's
little
mass
not a little dent
it's
that's like ding 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 ding. It's
it's
like
massively overstretched. Yeah, a lot of most of the stuff.
right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's just different going into oil canning.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, the PDR world's a little different. I mean, I get PDR stuff when I'm writing estimates and doing stuff, and I look at the dent, and I'm just like, yeah, I can do that for you. And then when I walk to the truck, I'm like, I don't know how I can do this.
Well, so that's what I'm talking about. I mean, and
Hmm.
that's a healthy feeling.
Yeah,
It is, but it's you're at the point I, where you need to push yourself like that.
yeah. I kind of just I write the stuff now, and then if I'm unsure of this, that, or the other, I'm just like, man, I'll deal with it, and when I get there or something, I'll come up with something.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't really let that kind of stuff bother me too much, and I never really did in collision work either. I just so at the end of the day, it was already broke,
Right.
so
We didn't crash it.
yeah, I didn't do any of that. The worst thing that could happen was um, I'd have to either replace it or get some repair time. But luckily, none of that ever happened. Um, if I said I could fix it, I would find a way to fix it.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's just how it is. You committed to it, but now you got to finish it. It's work in life.
yeah, yeah. That's it's when I talk about putting sharp tools on dents and stuff and moving all that up. Yeah, that's still in the back of your mind. Like over pushing and pushing like a sharp nasty looking something you can't get out, but push mark or something. But uh, luckily, I'm just patient with that, and I haven't done that yet. Not gonna say I won't ever do it, but so far I've had good luck.
Awesome. That's great. Very
So
cool.
you,
No, I'm excited to see what happens with you and your PDR. So,
well, it's taken off a lot faster than maybe maybe I had thought. Um, it's going pretty good. Learning, kind of getting the established part of it going.
yeah.
Um,
Now, you're all mobile?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, all mobile. I got I don't have the Milwaukee packouts and all that stuff. I like all that stuff, but it just looks a lot nicer if you have a retail shop and it's all set up. I feel like it's hard to transport if unless you have a van or something with maybe like what do you call those little uh, wheelchair accessible ramps,
Hmm.
and you can just leave it. I feel like it's difficult to.
I'll agree. So, after lugging it around in the back of a car for a
Mm,
few weeks, it's it's a pain in the butt to take apart, put together, take apart, put together. So the ideal situation would be to have it roll right up into something where it can stay together and roll right out and play, and then it works mobile. Otherwise, it takes a minute to get set up and pack up, and that time is money.
yeah. So,
Thanks,
do you ever
kids.
and do you ever just look at it and go, nah, like I don't want to do this. I don't
Did
want to take this apart again.
Well, there are plenty of times when, if I can, I'm leaving it in the car. So I
Yeah.
set it up. I set it up so that I could get out to some drawers in the side door and some drawers in the back door.
Mm,
And
yeah.
I pull the light out, and I open the gun case in the car. And the gun case has the rod tools in it, and that's it. Like, just leave it all in there. I'm like, I'm not taking this all out.
I
No.
think I need to buy another gun case.
Wow.
Honestly, one I don't know how everybody else does it. Maybe Gene can tell me or somebody, but I'm thinking sharp tools in one and not sharp tools in the other, maybe or something like that. Because just
Okay.
fumbling over so many of these rods trying to find something, and it's stupid heavy.
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
I think I need to get another one.
So, I mean, the only thing I was doing to combat that a little bit was, so if I was working on a door, I'd take my door tools and I'd put them up on the lid of the case. So all that was there was the door tools, and it split it up more. Or if I needed whale tails, same thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah,
That's probably a good idea too.
your go tos and your main one, and then the specialty or whatever else, rest of them in the other ones. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So, did you take any PDR tools to?
Hmm. I didn't at first. I brought some glue stuff, obviously, and but then right away, first day, it's like, man, if I just had one rod, I could just all these dents I've done all day with this puller. And so yeah, I brought in a double bend, interchangeable tip,
Hmm.
ratcheting handle, and a longer, stout, single bend round tip, and flat bar, two flat bars.
Flat bars are nice when you can use them.
So that's you have a trailer. I was thinking about that, Daniel.
I did too until I thought I would have to have insurance on a trailer, tag it, and buy tires for it. I figured at that point I'd just get two more tires and have a transit van, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, there's something to be said about that.
I do like the trailer idea too. I had a camper top that I was supposed to get from a truck, but guy backed out on selling it to me, I guess. So I got to do something else. At this point, I'm thinking of either a little small transit van or trailer.
I like that. 4 plastic cart trays, long rods, and a deck drawer. Yeah.
I wanted a deck system, but they don't. I just use an old S10 right now, and they don't really make them for that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like the something that's constantly set up. You know, you can just roll off and on real quick. Uh, but for now, yeah,
I will. So you don't have the pack out system. You have what is it? The Husky.
yeah, I just bought the Husky. What is it? Connect system, I think is what they call it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
It
And that works way better for you for what you're doing.
it
And
works for now until I can um upgrade it and all that stuff. And yeah, I did think about the trailer being a portable sign or anything like that. That was on my mind.
I've heard that when you're in that kind an area where it hails and there's dent work, that you want to keep your tools hidden because they get stolen.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess it depends how where you are, how populated, or how much hail that area gets.
Yeah, and trailers are cheaper than trying to buy a whole new vehicle too. So I mean, it's probably not really that bad.
Well, it's all the tools inside.
Yeah,
That's what I'd be worried about. I mean, trailers are
yeah,
easy to break into, so.
yeah.
But no, those are good points for trailers too. We'd be fine for up here. Nobody knows what to do with PDR tools up here.
No,
No, no, there's only like 4 or 5 of us in the state. No, there's
so,
like there's more than that. There's like 12, and
yeah.
but that's not many for a whole state. Uh,
That's what good insurance is for. Gene said. Yeah,
there you go. That's
um,
true.
what was his name telling me that somebody had their tools in a gun case in the back of a truck, and
Oh,
uh, the tailgate was down and off it went.
yeah, that's an unfortunate one for sure. Trailer parking on trash day at customer house. Good luck.
Yeah, I don't know. I that was
Yeah, yeah, we knew, Gene.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't gonna
poor
mention.
guy.
I wasn't gonna mention anything, but or
I
you
felt
know,
so bad when you guys were posting about that. That's
yeah,
oh man, I would feel so bad.
yeah. Me just starting out and stuff like that would really suck. I guess it would suck even if you're 10 or 20 years into it, but um,
All those tools you collected, and they're just what you know
it,
used to, and
yeah,
everything.
yeah. Now
Your
you got to go
go-to
back and
tools.
rebuy all of it again. Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That would be tough. Yep. So I took my Anson collision glue gun to work because it's a collision glue gun. He's working next to me. Hi, Dave.
Man, I hate that, but I'm sure he's got it all back straightened out and stuff now, and it's all good now. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put my 10 most used tools in another gun case. I'm gonna do that
That's horrible.
and hope I don't lose the 10 most used tools gun case.
Yeah, yeah. Make sure that one is nailed down or something.
Yeah, yeah, Yeah. So
Oh
you took
man.
the collision glue gun and what
Yeah,
do you use battery? What battery do you use?
I use the DeWalt batteries. I had a lot of them lying around the house, so I decided that was what I went with. And the only other tool line that I have are Snap-on, and unfortunately, that's like the only one they don't make an adapter for that. Maybe it'll come in the future. Who knows? But yeah, that Anson collision glue gun is necessary at the body shop. I mean, it just didn't make sense to leave it here for PDR work when I'm doing small PDR jobs. I mean, the biggest I fill up is an LTT beam tab. What are they? 2x2.
Yeah.
For a little bit of lateral tension, maybe a slightly bigger lateral tension tab, but nothing serious.
Hmm.
So I took the Cam Auto lateral tension over there. It's a blood blister. uh, I took the Cam Auto lateral tension over there. I took the Black Plague green straps. Um, I took just about all my Cam Auto stuff to work because I mean that stuff really is. I mean that's Charles is a collision guy. He's not a PDR guy, so it's this stuff is designed for moving major
Collision work.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like more industrial. So all that stuff came with me, and the Anson collision glue gun because I mean that thing it just keeps spitting it out, keeps spitting it out, and I can get these big tabs filled up, no issue. Even if I just like flipped it on, I mean it warms up faster than my plug-in gun.
Hmm.
So
And those, for people who don't know, those Anson collision guns, they're equipped to take a Ryobi battery,
yes.
but they have battery adapters for what? Milwaukee, Makita, DeWalt. I think that's it. But
Yep, but
uh,
that's four brands.
yeah, that's four brands total. So if anybody wanted to go and buy one and wasn't sure, you can. They have those uh, adapters, so you won't have to be in a new battery platform.
Right, right. Yep. And that's
Yeah,
AnsonPDR.com has all that. Or you can download the Anson PDR app
yeah.
and get that. But yeah, that's a great glue gun. I still have some Anson collision hard pull loaded in there and I think I'm going to request some of that.
Anson
Uh,
hard pull.
yeah, I mean I
I
have been playing with the Baytag glue.
Yeah.
It
Um. So Baytag glue, which color? They have a tan color and a blue.
the blue. I played with the blue.
You like it any at all, or you getting used to it, or?
I could get anything to stick.
Well, I mean, getting it to stick is fine, but I mean, like every glue has its little um
So give me
thing that
more
it
time.
likes.
Give me more time. I really
Yeah.
only played with it like once,
Oh, once.
and
Okay.
I made some effective pulls with it. So it was not disappointing.
Yeah.
It felt like a collision glue. It's funny how close the color is to the old Snap-on glue, and I'm wondering if yeah, Anson hard pull.
That's my favorite glue too. I I bought a bunch of it and I just used that, and I've been using that green jujitsu glue for smaller stuff. And but a lot of times I even use the Anson hard pull for even the little small finishing tabs.
That's what I always do.
It
I'm
just worked.
using
It's great in every scenario that I've tried to make it work in. There's not nothing that I would say no, don't use it for that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. And yeah, I'm excited. I actually have some new tabs on their way to me. I've got the Atlas tabs that I bought under your recommendation.
Yeah, those are the same ones I bought at MTE from Dave Strain. He had
Okay.
a big set, and I just bought the whole thing. Um, Looked
So
like some really good collision style tabs at the time. You know.
yeah, I mean, honestly, so I hadn't played with anything. Well, I played with a few tabs that had texture on the bottom that weren't smooth.
Mm,
Because really, so at that point, most of my glue pulling was with Kiko, and then some with Cam Auto. Cam Auto's got some texture on there, but these are huge tabs, you know. So
mm,
the only small tabs that I had played with that had texture on them, I got failed pull after failed pull after failed pull after I'm not gonna use this anymore, you know, like so when you grabbed that set of Atlas tabs, I was going, mm. And you're like, it's only this much. I'm like, okay, you're only wasting that much.
yeah.
You know, and I'm like, have fun with your tabs, Nick. And then you sent me that note, and you're like, yeah, they pull like crazy. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to try those, and so yeah, I've got some on the way, and I'm really excited because like I said, I so Camauto does make smaller tabs. I just don't have any.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have their smaller crease tabs, which are great, but I don't have any like regular round ones. And if I'd have them, I'd be using them and I'd be promoting them right now. But I don't have them at the moment. So I've got the Atlas tabs. I think the same set that you had. It comes with some glue too.
Mine didn't come with glue. It just come with. I think it was the entire set of the
It might be
Atlas.
a smaller set then. So I
Uh,
think mine might be a smaller set, but it's still got a pretty good assortment, and I'm looking forward to playing with those because it's got some big round ones and some really little round. I just made that video where
yeah,
I used an Atlas tab, and it was because when you order from the Anson PDR app, they will actually. Hey, look at that. We got Bryce Kelly in here. What's going on, Bryce?
and
Uh,
I do like the Atlas Titan ovals. Those are pretty sweet.
so that's what I'm excited to use. And
Hmm.
it looked like there were some ovals in there. I don't know if they're Titan ovals. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, mine's got some really big oval size ones, and some looks they look like hexagon looking crease tabs. They're really big, you know. They look like they would be really good on some smash stuff. And I did use a little bit of them on some bigger damage, and I enjoyed them. So I think you'll really enjoy using those in collision.
I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean it's new toys to play with, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime you get new toys is fun. And speaking of tabs and stuff, the ice tabs from Kiko that I got, I broke three of them today, but I've used them. I used them for a year before they broke.
ouch. Oh, okay. All right. Then you
So
got your money's worth out of them.
yeah, that and many more. So I'm gonna be picking up more of those when we go down to Oklahoma and stuff. But yeah, uh, freaking that many uses out of a tab and not being light or nice to it at all is freaking nuts. And yeah, appreciate it.
Thank you, Bryce.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so those finishing tabs are not forever. I like to always give John Vidine a little bit of shit on his purple tabs, but man, are those things the greatest. I don't care how many break, and I've only broken two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've had them over a year now, and I use them constantly. So it's yeah. Hey, Jason, what's up, Jason?
And new tools are the greatest. And speaking of new tools, you know that hell job I was working on, I used that and I shared it on Instagram with that Mo clamp that I had to the door seal or the pinch weld. Do you have a video or a that picture?
I'll bring it up. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, but
Okay.
keep explaining.
Yeah, I didn't have anything to get leverage off of with with a frameless door. So I was like, man, what am I going to use on this? And I kept looking around, all my tool inventory, and that little moat clamp was just sitting there, nice and shiny. It was glowing. So I grabbed that thing, stuck it up there, and I was like, man, this thing works perfect. And
I
then, you know,
got it. Here. Sorry, I'm going to add
go,
it. Oh, that's not it.
that's not it.
Technical difficulties. Mo
If I was
Clamp
doing it, it would be.
shared it. There it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you know,
that's that's
it,
when you take a body tech and turn them into the PDR tech right there.
it's what I had, and it worked. So
I love it. I absolutely
yeah.
love it. You sent it to me first, I think, and I was at work. I just died laughing. I think somebody was walking by, looking at me weird, because that's hilarious. It really is. But I mean, it's hilarious until you think about it, and you're like, wow, what a great idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Seriously.
it worked.
Yeah,
Um,
and the more you pull down on it, it actually the tighter it gets.
mhm.
So I mean that's how these Mo clamps are designed. So
Yeah.
it's just that's
It's not
perfect.
coming off.
No,
It's not coming off. I mean, yeah, it's a great tool.
Bryce says you can use the Mo clamp as a grab handle while twisting on the tool.
Hmm. There's so many good uses for that tool that I mean
Yeah, yeah, that's
that you don't even
perfect.
have to put a hook and a chain on a machine.
Yeah, so I've definitely seen people use C clamps. I actually have them in my pack out. I haven't had to use them, but they're in there if I needed
Mm.
them.
Yeah,
That's I might throw the
that was definitely a different,
I, I
different
might
for
throw the
me.
Mo clamp in the pack out
If
now.
you got one of those, man,
I
that thing
do,
works.
I do. I have that. I think that's the exact clamp I have.
Yeah,
That's great.
that worked out
All right, so
extremely well for that. And
that's great.
man, look, Clive came in here.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Thanks for staying up, dude.
Yeah, really, it's like 1 o'clock where he's at. So that's awesome. He stayed up to come and say hi.
That's awesome. So yeah, you're in a newer place. So I thought you had gone something with Kiko, but maybe that was in your old place.
That's nice to see you getting into glue pulling as well, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been wanting to.
Yeah, more and more techs out there are going to glue pulling. So um, and wanting to use PDR tools as well. I mean, maybe not. I call them PDR tools, dent tools. Um, maybe not to do PDR work, but just to take bigger damage and minimalize it into collision because not everybody wants to do PDR.
Right. Or honestly, I mean, it's probably faster to just take the rod, stick it through the taillight hole, push that dent out of the quarter panel really quick, then to take all the paint off and grab the dent puller, roll it over, plug it in, set up your
Hmm.
ground, pull the dent out, clean it off. It's
Then you
just
can't see it.
it's just faster. It's
Yeah.
better quality too, but that might not be the technician's goal. Ultimately they're trying to go faster. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm trying to sell this. You know, the picking can definitely be a much faster thing. You do not have to be a PDR tech in order to use it. You're allowed to crack the paint. We're about to paint it.
Hmm.
You know, so I mean, yeah, no, I definitely agree with. I mean, that's why day two I was bringing the rods in to work with me. Day one I was borrowing rods from another guy in the shop. Yeah, so it
So
was
they had some dent
yeah,
tool equipment already.
and there's no PDR attacks there.
So were they using it though, or was it
Hmm.
just like kind of in the corner collecting dust?
No, it was his personal
Oh, they were actually
tools.
actively using it. Okay.
Yeah, and when I did my interview at that place, and when I walked around, I actually saw one of them through a tail light hole with a rod, and then a hammer. Ding, 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 ding. So he
Mm,
was using a body shop method, by
yeah.
pushing these. That's a hammer off dolly technique right there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And yeah, it was cool. 'Cause I did a double take. I was like, he's using a pushing rod. I think I should come here. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah,
that's what got you fired up about wanting to work there anyway. So.
well, it was one of the things. It was one of
Hmm.
the things. I mean, it just seems. I mean, it takes a lot. I mean, a body shop is a complex workplace,
Yeah.
and over the years, I've learned there are many things I need to check off the checklist to see if it's a good place to work. From the outside, I can only see so much. As an interviewee.
Yeah. You
Uh,
can't really tell how bad or how good the place is by the bricks they use.
no, and
So.
even if you check off everything on my checklist, you might not know everything because you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
such, like I said, it's a complex business, which I think everybody who's listening to this knows that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, well, anyway, so walking through the place, that definitely helped. Seeing that, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
always like to look around when I go into new potential employers. When I was doing that, see what they had in there,
Well,
kind
yeah,
of
I mean,
tools.
I'll list a few things. I don't think I can go over everything, but I mean, I want to shop to, I want them to to ask about me because they're interested in who I am,
Hmm.
not grill me on, whatever. This isn't
Like belittle you before they hire you, kind of type thing, or
yeah, and you'd be surprised how often that happens, actually. And as soon as it happens, I just basically, I'll be polite and I'll finish whatever, if it's an interview, if I just stopped in to say hi or something like that.
yeah,
But after that, I'm walking out the door going, no way I'm coming here.
yeah.
The manager couldn't even stand up to shake my hand. He told me that he was straight off. He was telling me, yeah, you mess up, you pay for it. I'm not
Hmm.
paying you.
Yeah, that's a
That's the first
negative.
thing you say to me?
That's
Sorry,
a
go ahead.
negative. That yeah, I'm just saying that's a negative. And if you walk in there and they have Chinese pull clamps instead of mo clamps, I'm not working there either.
There we go. Green tools.
Yeah. Or
Yep.
whatever color. I mean, Carliner has the Mo Clamp in yellow,
Oh, that's right.
and
That's
that
right.
particular one I've got is black. So
That's right. I've never seen it. I thought maybe you painted that yourself.
mm.
No, no. Everyone I've seen has always been green. It's
I have a
interesting.
few green ones. I like the green ones. So what's Daniel say? It's not faster to fix the dent PDR versus conventional. This is a very small dent. That's yeah, that's true. But
What if you're factoring in all the disassembly? I mean, then we have repair, then paint and assembly and detail. Now we have pre scans and post scans and calibrations.
if well, if you're talking about just the dent, if you're fixing the dent, um, PDR, you have to finish the dent. You have to 100%. Well, I mean, if you're going for 100% or whatever the case is, but just like 100% dent.
Just the dent. Yeah, okay.
And depending on the size of it, if it's a smaller dent, or let's just say it's like a 2-inch dent, let's erase.
I
Yeah.
like it.
I mean, a lot of factors form into that. I mean, like location, if it's glue pull only at that point, if you can get rod access to it. I mean, there's a lot of factors, but um, I don't know. There's a lot of freaking nice tools out there that'll push a gigantic crease out in no time. So
Right.
I don't know. I'm gonna say it's all factored on basic damage.
I'm
Um,
still gonna say that I like mixing the two. I mean, I'm going to these little dings and I'm taking the PDR tools and I push them out. I don't have to get them perfect, and I give them a quick swipe. And I know that's like doesn't help me towards my PDR goals, but at the end of the day, I'm working at a body shop. I need to get these things done efficiently, and I'm already got glaze, so it
yeah,
is more efficient for me to
Dean,
finish it with
Dean says
glaze.
he's done before your primer's dry, but
Yes, she's
this guy's using UV primer though. That's the
yeah,
only.
yeah, and my primer dries like that. But no, it's I'll bet
He,
somebody with your experience, Gene. I'll bet.
he said he's trying to spice it up a little bit. Yeah, you'll get
I know
you'll
you are.
spice it up saying stuff like that for sure.
Okay, so here, Alex says we do powder coat and paint yellow for car liner. We used to paint them other colors for other companies, but guys like you wanted green, so it's pretty much just car liner. He still wants yellow.
Mm,
So
nice.
okay,
And the green color is a nice color. When you walk in, you don't even really have to know what you already know it what it is just by that color.
so what company did you steal that black mocha lamp from?
I don't know.
Because it's supposed to be
It's it's
green.
it's really old. It's
Yeah,
really old.
yeah, the green fell off.
I got that thing like a long time ago. So,
Oh, that's great.
and it's still a fantastic, like one of my favorite tools.
Oh man, definitely a respect thing. I feel a shop owner needs us more than we need them. A positive mindset throughout the shop helps. Oh, big time. Big time. I mean, so I had to learn recently a short commute is not the greatest thing. Sure, it's great, but it's not the greatest thing.
A short commute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that too because I like to drink coffee and just listen to whatever and kind of get prepared. But if you have a short commute, like I'm talking like just a few minutes, well, you don't get to do any of that anymore. I
Okay.
don't, I don't
That's one
want
way to look at it.
I don't want something that's just like astronomically long. But yeah, I always enjoyed driving a little bit and having some coffee on the way. You know,
Okay. All
that's
right.
always nice.
I don't like that.
You
But
don't like that?
what I'm trying to say is that even though I don't like a longer commute, it's worth it to be in a better place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've never made a move where I didn't feel like I was going to a better place. So this is no dig on anybody. It's just I always feel like I'm going to a better place. So
Hmm. I was just thinking about drinking coffee in the mornings, I guess.
I know. I like I said, I like what you're thinking there. And I mean, I so what I do is I throw on an audiobook or in the morning it might be the news, which
Never that.
I shouldn't do that, but
Never that. Yeah.
yeah. So let's stick with the audiobook. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
change that as of tomorrow.
Yeah. Read you a Harry
News
Potter book.
news don't get me started on Harry Potter. uh, the the book is definitely a nice way to start my day. So I don't dislike entirely a long commute. I'll say it's mostly the people on the roads that drive me insane.
Hmm.
Um, so, and I'm much better than I used to be. But yeah, that's what it comes from. So if I put my mind on the audiobook, then it, better. Plus, it's early in the morning. There's not many people on the roads at that point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Clive says he loves coffee and a podcast on his commute. That's a pretty good thing. I always enjoyed similar stuff. I don't know. I guess I've reached the age where talk show radio is interesting.
Then I reached that
just
age
in
a while ago.
just in general, you know.
Uh,
Yeah, so yeah.
I remember feeling like that.
Yeah, and when I was driving to Memphis, that traffic was always horrible.
Oh,
So
sure.
yeah, you were pretty much guaranteed some kind of traffic delays
Mm.
somewhere along the way. Um, so yeah, having coffee and a good podcast or audiobook or something was almost a must.
How long was the commute?
It was an hour and 20 minutes.
That's
That's too long.
that's
I'm
too
I'm
long.
thinking like 20 minutes is fine. 20 to 30 minutes. If your normal day to day job is to commute to the same place every day, I would say something in that range is fine. But when it gets over that, it's just there's like a bell curve. It begins to be a chore, take from your day and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't recommend going on much further than that.
Yeah, I'm like between 30 and 40, but
Yeah.
that's my maximum, absolute maximum, and I'm still happy. I mean, it's you spend more time at the place than you do driving to and from it.
Hmm.
So it's more important that you be happy where you are working than your commute. So, and plus, it's really not that bad. It could be an hour and 20 minutes. That would be no good.
No, no, that wasn't the best. But um, yeah, we got that part went. It came and went. So we're done with that. Now I just drive all over the place instead. Look like some kind of psycho crazy person with a truck full of crap.
You're a driving fool.
Hmm.
I did the hour 20 thing when I was doing body school.
Yeah, hour and 20 each way. Yeah, per way. Yeah, it was.
Jeez, Alex, an hour each way.
Yeah, it's well, when the place you live in doesn't really have a lot to choose from, you kind of got to go seek it out, and that was just. I mean, I probably could have found stuff closer, but the places that I liked at the time just so happened to be at that. I thought it was worth it, or at least give it a good shot at that point.
I mean,
And
it's always temporary.
yeah,
It's always
yeah,
temporary. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, doing body school, I did. I decided not to stay in the dorms, and I did an hour and 20 to and from. Yeah,
yeah.
Clive,
That's
30 or
reasonable.
40
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
reasonable.
And Cass says she's 5 minutes away, so you
Yeah,
don't get any coffee drinking time. You got to clock in and then drink coffee.
that's how I was for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
I was 4 minutes actually, even less.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm in a small town, there's not really much here. Yeah, you have to
So that's
drive.
cool. So
But
you have yeah, it's nice to have that goal. If you take the drive because it's worth it.
yeah, well, like he's talking about, tired of the city nonsense stuff. And wherever you go, they all have different things. Some good, some bad. But if you don't want to deal with all that, if you like country stuff, then
This guy,
yeah, no.
yeah, must
You,
be nice.
yeah, this freaking his boss will fire him though if he drinks coffee too long, sitting in one spot.
And he's lying. He goes mobile too.
That's why I tell everybody if I don't get up early, get up to shops on time. I said, man, I think I'm gonna get fired today.
Yep,
So
yep,
yeah,
yeah. Your boss is
yeah.
really mean.
I'm like, that guy's an a hole. He's gonna fire me if I show up late.
It's really mean.
Yeah, terrible, terrible guy. Mm.
Oh man. Well, what do you
Uh,
think, Nick?
Huh? I don't know. I think we was gonna have Keith on, but I think something happened to him and he couldn't show. So you guys got to hear us babble and talk about collision stuff instead.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that we can sit here and just talk.
Talk about random nothing.
I mean, we do it anyway. Might as well do it live.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, so let's call this a. Yeah, see, Dan's laughing at us. Uh, we might as well call it a rain check with Keith. So we'll get him on. We want to talk about his his company, Black Plague, PDR tools. Um,
Well, actually, he just texts right here and says he can be on in 10. Do you guys want to hang out and get him on in 10 minutes, or do you want to just
it's fine with
wait and have
me.
a full hour? What do you guys want to do? You guys that are watching, you
Yeah,
write in
let's
there and
ask
tell us
the
what you want to do
comments.
right quick.
That's a good idea. He also has a podcast of his own, PDR
Mm,
College. Gene says yes.
okay, all right. I'll tell him.
Yep, original Dent guys are hanging out. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's hang out. Here, in the meantime, while he's doing that, I'm going to show a video I took at MTE um, of Keith and Matt Boyette doing a tool demo. Let's see.
Oh yeah, from the MTE. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So they've got large amount of damage on this door. I'm sure they put it down on the ground and stepped on it. And they're using lateral tension green straps from Black
Matt just
Plague.
showed up. Good to see you, Matt.
Hey, Matt. Go on, Clive says. Wow. And yeah, using that tab weld glue. And I don't know if this was the first time he showed this bar. It's the first time I saw it. This lateral tension bar from Black Plague. And just watch this damage just pop right out. Right there. Finish it off with some cold glue.
Hmm.
Which we know is one of Matt Boyette's specialties.
The those straps in that bar, I haven't got to use the bar or nothing, but those straps are just freaking wicked.
That's my favorite lateral tension device to use. Period. Those green
Yeah.
straps. You need to have something like that bar or a port of power to push between them, or you need places to pull. So either a
Yeah.
frame machine. That's why
Pull
I loved
towers.
them. That's
Yeah.
because the frame machine hooks went right in those loops. Just pull
Hmm.
that quarter panel right back or whatever you're pulling. And ratchet straps I've also used with the green straps. Sometimes if you're just doing like say a quarter panel or a rear door, you can go to the hinge of the front door with the
Yeah.
ratchet strap, and just tick 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 tick, and it will you just get your lateral tension right there. And no matter how much power I put on those things, I never create any collateral damage. So definitely definitely my favorite. Plus pull tower. Yeah, like the
Hmm.
Blackpool C.
Yeah.
I've been looking at that Blackpool C. I think I have one in my future.
For me as a mobile guy, would that be something that I would probably need to get into with that, or you think I should probably just look into something else?
The
I,
Blackpool C.
yeah.
So there's a less there's a smaller one, but honestly, since you're mobile and you need that kind of power, you could probably park your truck somewhere.
Just pull off it.
Right, and they make a vertical bar that fits in a trailer hitch.
Hmm.
and
I've
it's
seen
meant for
those, and
this.
I've seen those, but you never really know what you're
Oh,
gonna
that
get into.
perfect pull also has a mobile setup
Yeah.
too. I was actually just looking at that the other day on Anson.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the mobile perfect pool setup. The only time I've fooled with the perfect pool stuff was when we were at Anson and James' class. So I haven't really got to use it much. Not too terrible familiar with it, but it seems like a really good setup. And
Oh, bring him in.
the man is here. Good afternoon.
What's up, fellas?
How
Hey, how's it
you
going,
doing?
Keith?
Awesome. Hey, apologies for not being on time today. I'm just juggling too many things.
No worries, no worries.
We all
Pretty
know
laid
how it
back.
is. Just a bunch of dent guys in a podcast. You know how it is.
Yeah, I just call the body shop and say, I know I told you I'd be there at noon. I'm coming at 5 or tomorrow. Y'all are cool with that, right?
I'm sure they love that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we was just talking about body shop stuff. Showing the green straps with the strap bar. I don't know what you call it or the official name is, but
You know what's funny? We don't have an official name for it. I've been joking around that it's going to be called the Spread Eagle.
oh, really? Yeah,
I like that actually.
that's pretty cool.
And I'm like, all my names are awful for my tools, like gangrene and black plague. So it's like, oh, this is just awful too. The gang and spread
It fits perfect, doesn't it?
if it's right in there.
Yeah, that's
We
nice.
decided to call it black plague. My wife's like, you cannot call it black plague. I'm like, but there was a guy that used to work with me in my service business named Jared, who was a really good cartoon artist. Like he could draw comic books, like, amazing. And
Hmm.
the original black plague tabs. I don't even know if you guys have seen them. They're a big giant black tab that has a big old bolt out of it. You pull the bolt.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, he's like, they kill creases, like the black, they're black, like the black plague. So he drew that rat with the bolt out of its back. And like, this is ridiculous. I love it. Because
Yeah.
you try to call it something like, Pro Master Crease Tab, nobody remembers it. What is it?
That sounds too like normal.
Right. Like you just
Yeah.
forget. Same reason my service company is called Bullseye and not Dent something, Dent Master, Dent Wizard, because nobody cares. Probably you guys in the body shop, especially, probably called every PDR guy the Dent Pro guy, right? Before you knew what dents were. It's like,
Well,
Pro guy, or the
It's
Dent.
Dent Wizard around here. It's
Yeah,
everyone's Dent Wizard, Dent
yeah.
Wizard, Dent
Yeah.
Wizard.
Or it's that random guy that shows up and he goes away like a wizard or like a fairy. He comes down and fixes your dent and then leaves, and you don't
yeah.
know where he came from, don't know his name, you
Ours had
know.
a really bad attitude too. So
So the
yeah.
spread eagle is maybe what it is, and we don't even have like an internal term for the adapters to go into the straps and pull or push with hydraulic power. But we have a
Pretty
dent on
cool.
it, totally.
Mm.
We have a prototype adapter that we're working with, and we're trying to do is build a drive system that gets away from the hydraulics because it's just such a pain to get the case out, and it's heavy and it's always
Oh yeah.
oily. It's like
Hmm.
powerful, but you don't always need that much power, and nobody wants to get that case out. You're getting it out because you have to get it out. So
Yeah.
we're building a screw drive, and we had a working. We thought we had it nailed for MTE, but it was like last minute. We didn't have a chance to do a lot of field testing with it, and at MTE there was just a couple things that were not 100% with it, so we had to go back to the drawing board. And then
Okay.
A1 was building it for me, and they just got inundated with hail orders this year for tools. And he's like,
Hmm.
I don't have time to keep working on this. So
Yeah.
I paused it a bit. So
Well, I
we're gonna,
like it.
yeah, it's awesome. So we're gonna sell just the adapter so that you can still use a porta power and use the straps. But I really want a screw drive, not a hydraulic.
That's what I like that.
Yeah.
So if you could get that down, I'm sure I'll be very interested in one of those. It's
I'll definitely have one on the in the cart at all times.
yeah,
Yeah.
everything you said about the porta power, I totally agree.
Mhm.
I don't want anything to do with it, even in
Putting it
body
back in
work.
the box that's hard,
He's
Matt.
not wrong with that.
Yeah.
Go back in there.
Yeah.
Getting
That's
it back in the box, yeah, that is the hard part. Yeah, getting it out is easy. That's true.
yeah.
I missed
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It leaks all over you at times, and Oh man, when you're done with a job, you're just like, man,
Like I'm
good.
sure there's a high end porta power somewhere to get, but if you can get it for $100 and you only need to use it like once a month, that's the one everybody
That's the
gets.
one everyone
They
gets. Yeah.
always leak and they always they pop off and they're just not good products. But they in their little realm, they're amazing. You can do some cool stuff with them.
Do we
Do we
have a
have a
link for?
link?
It's Black Plague PDR tools, but I don't. Did we make a link for this?
Yeah, for the tension straps, there if you just go to the site, the Black Plague, and search for tension tools, the straps will pop up.
Yeah,
Did you guys see those giant ones that we just released? The BFGS.
yeah, for this guy right here.
Yep, that's the man.
Yeah, yeah. I use the OTC. The OTC Stinger is the one I use,
High
Bryce.
horsepower.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's I've had it for years, but I used it for body shop stuff, not PDR. I haven't used it the first time for PDR actually. I haven't dove that deep off into something yet, but it's coming soon. It's coming soon. So yeah, we I don't know if you know this or not, but I started my dent company officially in April.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I went from the body shop 20 almost 22 years of doing that work to stepping off in PDR. So and
You probably had a nice shiny face at that point.
oh man, yeah, yeah, just cans of Bondo. When you open it up, it shows all its glory, and you're like, oh man, gonna fix everything with this, and you know, now you're out here in the sun sweating, and I don't even have one of those umbrellas, and you're like, well, I can't fake it till I make it out here. You got to make it work somehow.
So tell me about how you made the jump from body guy making decent money to like jumping into PDR. Did you bleed it off for a while and try to do dents on the side?
Well, I started glue pulling in 2018 when the F-150s with the all the aluminum started coming out. Everybody was trying to find in the body shop world, trying to find a better, faster way to kind of fix those things
Yeah.
because they kind of scared all the guys. We're like, whoa, none of our stuff sticks to it. Our dent tools don't work. This, that, or the other. We got to buy the aluminum stud guns
Right.
and I had seen Kiko stuff. They had some glue pulling stuff out, and I got the guy that I was working for at the time to. I talked him into buying one of those kits, and I call it a kit because it was a little bag. Uh, Danny got on.
It's a
Danny Hacker.
system.
He got on to me for calling it a kit, but
It's a system.
it really was. It was just a little bitty box set of stuff. It wasn't much, but I did get him to get that and played around with that kind of stuff until I figured out how to glue pull would work. And done that. 2020, I started picking up PDR tools and just dabbling in it here and there, fixing used doors. You get in a used door and they're all trash from being in transit and hauled around. So it's like, man, let me get in here and kind
But
of wiggle this.
Perfect
they are
practice.
$17 cheaper than an OE door, so it's a good.
Yeah, I know, right? You're saving so much by that, and they haven't been painted two or
You
three
got
times
it.
anyway.
Yep.
So yeah,
Rust on the bottom.
yeah, rust on the bottom, slidey marks everywhere.
So
Old.
you started pushing on used panels and trying to see what you could do.
Hmm. Yep, and trying to learn the lingos and names for all the stuff. How do you get in here? What whale tails, flag tools, whatever. So I started spending a lot of time looking into this stuff and kind of researching and figuring it out, and finally was confident enough to make the jump April of this year. So I went from full time collision to full time PDR.
How was your income like March to April? Did you go
Um,
up to build back up, or you able to slide right over?
well, I was doing in house PDR work
Okay,
already, like full in house PDR work. So
you had
I
already
kind of
transitioned to PDR
yeah
just inside.
yeah
All right,
yeah I just kind of just walked from one door into another
great.
basically. So that wasn't too bad. I felt like that was probably the best move. The time was right for me to do so.
Was it
So
the flamethrower over the shoulder to the body shop, or are you still doing the dents?
Actually, a lot of the shops call me and have me come and fix all their stuff. So it's good. I didn't burn any bridges. Nobody caught on fire or anything like that. They're still actually nice to me. They're like, this guy's got sharp stuff. We better be nice to him.
Listen, everybody that tries to do an in-house program, like all of us guys, I'm not unique with this perspective, but I'm like, you guys aren't going to pull it off. One of two things going to happen. You're going to waste money, and when the dude comes back to practice, you're going to make him sweep and put a car back together, and he's not going to get good. Or you're going to give him all the opportunity to get good, and you're not going to pay him. And then when he's good, he's going to leave. So if you're trying to make an in-house dent program, you're pretty much playing a losing game because they can never pay the guy what he can earn on his own. Ever.
Yeah.
If it's a really, really high volume place and they have an aggressive pay plan, they could keep somebody. If they're paying like 50% of the ticket and it's like hail cars and all the cars you can get, okay, maybe somebody would stick around for that. But they never pay that, or they do pay it until they cut the guy a $200,000 check, and then they reshuffle the deck, and then he's gone again. Like they
Yeah.
will not figure it out because it breaks their brains.
Yeah, one thing about that, somebody that is doing just traditional PDR work or traditional body work, I rather, they're going to get mad about the pay difference because it's definitely there.
Yeah, but when they
Oh
can
yeah.
when they can do the body work and the paint at the same time, then they can make the same amount. It's just a totally different process.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, it is. And
We make it look easy.
yeah, so
Right.
it's really difficult, and that's coming from me playing in heavy hit cars for 22 years. I mean, going out there with literally, you know, what would you say, just microns of play in here, trying to make the waves go away, make all that perfect glassing out, or minimal sanding. Some,
Mhm.
if you got to sand the dent away, so to speak, or whatever. But
Have you guys played with the depth gauge at all to measure dents?
I haven't. No, I've
So
got.
a few
Um,
years ago, we came out with this depth gauge. It's not rocket science. It's just a tire depth gauge, but it has a little base that you can slide on the car without damaging the car up. And I made it because we didn't know how deep of a dent we could fix. Like how deep? You just look at it, you go, "Ooh, man, that's deep." Well, how
mhm.
deep is it? I don't know. Like nobody knows. We all had guesses. So now it's kind of fun to get it out to when people haven't used it before and just ask people like, how deep is this dent? And like a nasty deep stretch dent, it looks like it's a quarter-inch deep, right?
Yeah, yeah,
They're like 2 millimeters deep,
Hmm.
right? And that's a crater, a nasty.
yeah,
You're gonna stay on
yeah.
for an hour. 2 millimeters is actually almost unfixable without a shrinky box. It's more like 1.6 and under. So like
Hmm.
less than 2 millimeters. So a little whisper dent that we can all see and we can fix, but it's easy. It's like zero point 0.2, zero point 0.3 millimeters deep. It almost doesn't exist, right? It's a
Yeah.
it's a DA away from being gone. So
Right.
like the level of after I started measuring them, I actually had more appreciation for what we're doing because the level of perfection that we're working within is really tight. It's a tiny difference between flat and not flat, and we're all so keyed in on it. Like we look down and you see something like, "Oh, this guy's garbage." We're talking about a tenth of a millimeter. And it's like it's
Yeah.
between awful and great.
That is crazy. I have to get one of those myself and just kind of play around with that and look because, and like you said, that would help what you can and can't fix. Like,
It's a big help for it. There isn't one number for everybody or every situation, but you start measuring them for yourself and you'll
mhm,
seeing how they turn out. The real reason I made it is because we would waste. This is before the shrinky box. So on a stretch dent, you waste an hour trying to be ginger with it, and then it flops. You're smoked. You can't get it.
mhm,
So now you have all this time. You flopped it. It's over with, and then you spend another hour trying to somehow magically recover from it. It's like, man, if I just would have known how deep this was to start, I could look this guy in the eye and say, this dent's not coming out. I'm not going to do it. I'm not even going to waste your time or mine because I can't get a 2 millimeter deep dent out. Now, Shrinky Box kind of changed that, but we still know, oh, I'm going to have to shrink this thing. So this is a bigger surgery.
Yeah, where can people get those?
I I can't remember if we ran out or not. You could check Black Plague and see if we have some. I made like hundreds of them. In PDR, we don't sell a lot of anything, so
Hmm.
I made hundreds of these things, and it's lasted for 5 years.
Hmm.
A1 makes another one, and they make them in house. So if I'm out, A1 probably has one.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So, yeah, that's one thing that we have a lot of in here. We have a lot of collision guys that are not real, like they're transitioning to glue pulling and stuff, but a lot of this stuff is brand new to them, glues and tabs and all that. So that's kind of what we created the Smash Masters for.
Yeah, it's
Is
really cool. But we've been talking, me and my buddies, about this transition, how it's imminent, and it's coming at some point. Like the idea that a body shop can't do PDR is just ridiculous, right? Like
hmm
they're supposed to be, they can do everything else. They can recharge the air conditioner and they can do everything else to fix this thing, but they can't do this. That's dumb. So there, at some point, those two worlds will melt, and
yeah,
you'll be able to get everything inside of a body repair facility like you should be able to.
I
But
keep trying.
yeah, it's a financial problem right now, and it's also a DRP problem because the most big body shops are financed by the DRP agreements. You
Hmm.
guys know that, right? So
yep,
they will make less money if they find a way to fix the car faster and easier. Their whole
hmm
process, like when you're talking about those used doors, um, you guys know this, and all your collision guys listening know this, and most dent guys know, but I think most of us haven't stopped to really consider, like, why don't we get paid like a body shop? The way the body shop gets paid is so convoluted and so it's such a game back and forth.
Hmm.
Like
yeah,
they say, hey, we're only paying for this used door. Great, we'll get the used door, we're going to put it on, we're going to paint it, and then when it doesn't fit, we're going to take pictures, and then we're going to supplement for a new door, and you're going to pay us to paint this one, and you're going to pay us for to paint the next one. It's a game, but you're just playing back and forth so that you ultimately end up with the money you needed to fix the car right in the first place.
Right.
When we're trying to write sheets, we're trying to write the whole sheet before we touch the car,
hmm
everything you could possibly need. And the insurance company is like, nope, we'll approve half of this. And you guys know, like, you go, okay, and you do half of it, and then you say, whoops, we're stuck. Here's a supplement, and the car's just sitting until you approve it. Then they approve it, blah blah blah. But it rolls out of the shop the same number that I'm trying to write in the beginning, but they make you go through all the hoops to get there, and we
yeah.
can't get there right off the bat with these sheets. So we are having us that are the PDR guys that are doing bigger jobs, doing more insurance. We have to really like rethink the way we're processing if we want to deal with more insurance companies because
Yeah.
you can't turn that ship around. That thing is sailed and it's going to go the way it's going to go.
Yep.
And these adjusters are nuts, dude. They
They
just say
they are
nonsense.
nuts.
Like
Well,
you
they're
got factory required procedures, and they're like, no, we don't pay for them.
hmm
I can argue with this. Like, what? They might as well. They're telling you that the car doesn't need four wheels to drive out of the shop. It's like, what?
Yeah,
I don't know what argument we need to have about this. It says it right here that it requires it, and you're saying it doesn't. It's like,
it's definitely a game with them.
oh,
And a lot of them just hope that you just give up and take the money.
oh, 100%. That like delay, so that you just roll that car out of the shop. I actually have my own kid's car in a body shop right now. It's a it's a buddy of mine, not super close, but I went there because they do some of the best work in town, and they're not giant MSO. And it's a
Yeah.
Geico claim, and the other party's responsible. This guy ran a stop sign and hit my kid's car. And
ooh.
I'm like, okay, I know how to play all these games. Let's see if we can get this thing handled. So they bring it in. Luckily it got to the shop first, and they tore it down. So when the adjuster shows up, he wrote actually a halfway decent sheet. He wrote like
hmm
6 on this car. But I opened the sheet, and it's like aftermarket bumper, headlight, hood, fender, liner. The only thing OE he wrote was a door skin. And I'm like, hey, saw your estimate. Thanks for having a look at it. It looks pretty comprehensive, but just so you understand, that car is absolutely not leaving the shop with aftermarket parts. So you can do whatever you want, but it's going to sit there, and I'm going to sit in this rental until you figure out your life because this car was original when your guy hit it. So that's the end of that story. And he just says, well, that's all we're paying for. I'm like, well, then it's going to sit. It's going to
Yeah.
sit. and I'm going to sue your insured for the difference. And I'm like, how much is the difference? Did you even look at the OE parts? No, we didn't look at them. I'm like, you're going to
Right.
make this a big fight over probably $300. He's like, well, if it's just $300, maybe you should pay it. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. But
That's
the
Mhm.
reason
exactly what they're trained to do.
yeah,
Exactly.
and I'm pissed about it because the body shop it just wants this thing to go, so he's eating into his pocket and to put OE parts on my car. And I'm like, he's like, hey Keith, don't worry about it. I got it handled. You don't have to fight with him anymore. I'm like, no, dude, that's even worse. Like this guy thinks he won. He did win. He took it
Right.
out of your rear end, right? When it should come out of his. That's awful. Totally awful.
Yeah, they never tell you that in order to get all OEM parts like that, that they want you to have an OEM policy on your
Right. But
on,
this is
on
not
your
my
account.
policy, right? It's the
Yeah, it's the other ones. Yeah, so they try to fight it and play those games, and I don't know the
I would never open a body shop. Like
Me
we're
either.
my claim
it's
connection
tough.
business has put me front and center with all these claims and like getting in the weeds on all of them. And I'm like, they are pulling this crap all day, everywhere, at every shop, all the time. And
Hmm.
you have to want to play these games, and it's frustrating.
They have one directive, and it's to save money. I mean, that's what I always tell all my writers. If the insurance company's not calling you to argue with you about what you wrote, you didn't write enough.
You didn't write enough.
You wrote
You
it
didn't
all.
write enough. They feel like they won.
Mm-hmm. It's really true.
That's why they accepted.
Mhm.
So
And yeah, you might have an OEM policy, but the person that hit them probably didn't, and they're like, "Well, we're going off their stuff," and they didn't have one, and it's like, no, this car was like this, and it wasn't my fault, so we're getting the stuff that was on it.
Right, and the dude just says no.
Mhm.
right.
Well, like a child, like no. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not going. Like, well, then we're gonna have a big fight in this mall. Like somebody's gonna lay on the ground and scream because I'm ready to go. Like I was ready to go all the way, and then the body shop's like, it's fine, it's whatever. I'll just get it. That's not how you want to win. Like I want to win legitimately. I want to like
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that happens a lot in body shops. Really, it
it
really
does. He
does.
doesn't want the car sitting in his shop for 3 weeks while I figure this thing out with him. He wants it
Mhm.
to
Right.
go too, and they
Right.
Yeah.
know. Right? Frustrating, man. It should
They
be illegal.
they win when yeah, they win.
That's the current battle as of right now. But I would say another current battle. It's getting a lot of the body shops on board with glue pulling and getting paid for the stuff to use to glue pull with.
Yeah,
That's
that's a thing, right? If you get 20 hours to fix this bedside, how do you translate that over to glue pulling and get paid to do it?
mm,
So
yeah.
how do you guys see solving that problem?
Um. Well, you kind of have to put it under like a miscellaneous material kind of thing.
Just for the materials, I'm talking about like the hour differences.
The hour differences. It's not really been.
Hasn't been a thing.
No, so they won't do that because they're just gonna say, "Well, just do it traditional then."
Mm,
They're not gonna they don't care how it's repaired. They just want it done for the least amount of time. But definitely, I mean, where we make it up is in the materials and
Well,
glue.
let me pause you because I'm just remembering
Yeah.
this conversation because there's a body guy that I work with close right here in my hometown who's like kind of like you guys. He's a body guy but loves introducing glue pulling techniques, and I've brought him tension straps and all this kind of stuff. And he's a great tech. But he was saying early on, like, you know, they want process photos back to this DRP problem. He's like, I need 15 hours for this panel. They're like, we'll give you 3. Right.
mhm.
So the way they get around it is by showing all the filler and, the entire area they worked on. Here's photos, 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 and then it gets approved. So he's like, but if I use glue pulling, which is a better repair, and I shrink this thing down,
Yep.
I don't have anything to show that I get 15 hours. I can't get paid the same until I mud this stupid thing up. So he's like, I
Yeah.
don't know how to get paid to do the better repair. I have to do a worse repair to get paid right.
Yeah, you need it. That somebody needs to be educating the adjuster. And what we did, we took pictures of a tab glued to it, maybe a tool. Maybe I was sitting there with a rod in a door. Take a picture of me, action shot of me doing this, and before and afters with the light, and with all of that, and a writer that was able to explain what we did to it. I was able to get the time that I needed, but it took that extra bit of effort, So they come out of the insurance knowing nothing. We have to educate them all.
Yeah, and it does help, I think, in a shop when the same adjusters are coming out and you have a relationship with them a little bit. Probably helpful.
But that
That
doesn't
does help.
happen in DRP. All we have in DRP is submit and somebody's on the phone, and an office review. It's and that's really like you said, DRP is what drives the body shop. So
Yeah. So, like Gene's saying here, better documentation. Well, how do you get better documentation? You bring the PDR light in, and you document all your style lines. You document just like you would write a big smash hit in PDR. You have to do that in collision, or and become a photographer, or they won't pay it if you just snap a 90-degree shot and hope they're going to pay you some crazy hours. It's not going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, they want you to, um, you can't just say, well, I want 20 hours to repair a quarter panel. They want you to break it up in sections, like 4 or 5 hours on a wheelhouse, jam section, like if you're fixing a quarter or something, they want you add time in there for that. And then style lines, and then glue pull repairs. And, you have to just kind of break it up and show each individual visual thing that you're going to do
Yeah,
instead of just trying to bulk uh, show something. But that's how I've gotten past getting a lot of the big repairs. And like he said, show a glue tab that's glued onto the car, and whether or not you're using a whatever kind of your favorite pull-in device, just make sure you got that showing up. And 9 times out of 10, if you've
they'll pay it.
documented it well, they'll pay it.
They'll pay it.
it's very
So
much like we have how we figured out as an industry how to sell retail dents. Like if you just say the number, well, this is $2,200 to fix. They're like, I don't can't comprehend this. I'm leaving. But
Hmm.
you just take your time to slow down and you measure it and you take a light out and you go, you got this body line is smashed. Yeah, this dent, look, it goes all the way up here. And you measure it. And you go, this is 27 inches. This is 9 inches on the body line. Just take your time and measure all the components, and they can understand where the price comes from. They're a lot more willing to accept it. So it's a similar mindset to an adjuster. I guess you just that's a good
that's
thing.
Yeah.
interesting because I use that in sales with my customers. So I take the app
Mhm.
out and I show them. So listen, this is how we get the price and everything, and this is how I bring the price down.
Yeah,
And
So
this right here is something I've been seeing more and more too, where he says, well, the iPads and stuff, like the techs have their own iPads and documentation tools, so the writer or whoever's doing the job don't have to come out and take every single picture. So they can tell their own story. That's I've been seeing that more and more as well. But yeah, getting some good lighting and documentation has really been it's been a Danny Hacker calls it, a game changer in the collision world. It really is.
yep, yep. No, I have the CCC app on my phone, and I can take photos and add them to the file of any car that I'm working on. So I don't have to go grab somebody. It's just real easy. Just snap a picture, and at the
Hmm.
end, if they don't know why I took the picture, they say, "Hey, I got this picture of this part. What is this? Oh, I needed time for that to do this." And oh, great, So and then we get that extra bit. But yeah, documentation backs that up.
Yeah,
so
it does.
Stefan, what are you doing dance full time? Are you still in the shop?
No, I'm a body shop employee doing dents part time.
Okay.
So I've been pushing maybe almost a year now. I did some online training with the Real World PDR, and then I actually went to David White's shop locally and just showed up and I said, "You're gonna train me," and he's like, "All right." So I talked the boss into paying for PDR training, and walked out of there being able to glass some stuff out, and I've been practicing ever since. So
Yeah, both those guys are great. It's such a tiny industry, like we play a game sometimes when we travel, like you're in XYZ city, and like let's look up the top 10 companies and see which one of them I know. Half of them, right? Just from the Mobile Tech Expo and the podcast. And
Mm-hmm.
just there's not that many really good guys. There's more now than there ever was, but there's still any major city, pretty good chance I know a couple of them. I'm not really a big shot. It's just a small industry.
It is a small industry. And speaking of Mobile Tech Expo, it was this beginning of this year was mine and his first time to go. And
You guys think, what are the takeaways for you guys never being there before?
oh, it's just it was great. Can't wait to go back.
Really
yeah,
I went to SEMA a few months before that, and I'm not going to SEMA this year, but I'll be going to MTE.
So MTE, when I was an attendee, was a totally different experience than when I was an exhibitor. An exhibitor is a lot of work.
Sure.
As an attendee, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And you make a ton of connections there with people throughout the year that you're going to use. You'll utilize, not just use somebody, but you make a relationship, and then you're sharing ideas about tools and strategies, and then you have another connection somewhere else, and then they know somebody. Especially if you're going to do hails, like invaluable. So one of my hacks for going as an attendee is to rent a minivan and like put together dinners, and then bring everybody with you in the van. And then you have this hour drive where everybody's getting to chit chat on the way to the dinner instead of everyone just scattering in different cars. So
yeah.
that's my pro tip for networking at the event as an attendee.
Yeah,
Duly noted.
That's a good idea, actually.
Because you're tempted sometimes to like just chill out with your one buddy and go check out some restaurant, but you could do that anytime, anywhere. Like this is the time you got to grab these people that you don't ever see, get some FaceTime with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just really cool folks.
Yeah, that's the first time I met Matt and Gene, Matt Myers, Gene, and Daniel Kraus, actually. So all from all walks of life, and we all hung out and stuff. It was. There's so much to see,
Mm-hmm.
when it's your first time there, and uh, just like Matt Boyett doing all those demos, man. He stayed constantly busy,
Yeah, he did.
and like a lot of them, Danny Hacker was busy, but and I ran into Bryce Kelly right up there. We'll see you, Bryce.
Yeah, have a good
Thanks
night, Bryce. Thanks
and
for
thanks for
watching, man.
yes,
See you
sir.
soon, Bryce.
But yeah, if I hadn't win, or if I'd have said, you know what, I'm just a collision guy, just maybe thinking about doing this full time, which I was doing that back and forth then. But if I would have said, I don't think I need to go, then I would have missed out on so much good stuff.
Right. Yeah, you almost didn't go to
I
MTE.
almost didn't go. Yeah, I wanted to go, and then I thought, well, you know what, I might not be able to because work schedule, this, that, and the other, and all the stars lined up, and I was like, man, I'm going. It was very last minute too,
That
and
was so cool.
man, I'm so glad I went.
Where are you boys based at?
I'm in Connecticut.
Connecticut.
He's in Connecticut. I'm in northern Mississippi.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I've flown over both of those places, man. I'm going on my way to places I wanted to go to.
yeah, yeah, and the Anson Open House event, that was the
you guys
first
got there.
time.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah,
first
that's
time
right.
I had been to that one too. I went to attend Gene Fetty's AAI Institute course, his 1-day training course. I went through that, and that was a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great. I wanted to come there for that too. I just had too much going on that week to get out there early.
Oh, Alex, it's a blast.
Yeah, Alex, if you don't know, he builds Mo-clamp tools for the body shop industry.
He's
So
a machinist.
he's a machinist.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, like
And,
the brand Mo-clamp.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, things are legit, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, they are legit.
let's go, man.
So, I think you would be able to talk him into that pretty easy, especially, seeing as how I was using that as a dent tool
That's right.
on that
So,
roof.
I could bring it back up.
Keith didn't see it, but
I could bring it back up. It's right here. Right on the door edge there.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. So I used to use it for a lot of different pulling strategies, rear bodies, pre pulls, and stuff. And now I'm using it that way. So there's always a use for a mo clamp tool.
I mean, the cool thing about PDR is that there's no wrong way to do it. As long as your dent looks cool, you did it the right way. So that creative flexibility, like for the right mind, is just an amazing thing because you can look at a puzzle and you go, okay, all right, I think I got a way to do it. And you start, this isn't working. All right,
Mm-hmm.
it's a new puzzle. Oh, how about this? And then you find a way to figure it out. You go, all right, cool. I made this work. It's like big open space. You need to find leverage. You figure it out, and it's right. Also, all the different materials you can use behind the panel. We used to just use steel and then tape on it. Those were the two options. But now, like at everything in between, Bryce is using lead tips. I use a ton of leather on my tools. I learned that from Sal, and leather's amazing. If you're not using it, I would recommend using it. And also, at our last seminar, we had a Zoom call with Arlson Gedges out of Brazil.
Yeah.
Probably one of, if not the best guy in the world that I've seen. And he uses a ton of leather as well. He was saying he'd put it up behind the panel and then push the leather. Instead of putting the leather on the tool, putting the leather on the panel.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, I've watched a ton of his stuff, and it is nuts what he does.
Really insane.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys who are at that level, in my experience, they also have some off the charts artistic ability in another medium. Like Shane carves wooden ducks that are like lifelike, replica ducks. He hasn't done it in years, but he's got 2 or 3 that he's done, and they're like, to me, they're perfect. To him, he's like, oh no, there's other levels to these, but it looks like a real duck.
Bryson is music.
I was going to say, like all these guys at the next level. I don't know if you guys know who Kaz is.
Yeah.
He's a sculptor, and like when he came out to do a show with us in Florida, they went to the beach on one of their days off, and he just built this articulate woman sculpture in the sand. It's just like next level artistry that these guys take over into sheet metal. So that's really like what I say that gives me a pass for not being that good.
I've heard you say mention Shane building that and all his blending techniques, and I've heard you say kind of like ragging him about that can't be really doing that type of stuff. Yeah.
I'm like, you're not going to hit a dent on the outside and make it flat, dude. I'll bet all my money on that. So let's go. Show me your stupid finger. You think it's flat, but it's not flat.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. So after that, I still struggle. I've talked about this a lot too. I still struggle with adopting new technology the minute it comes out because I'm super skeptical. So I'll see something and go, that's dumb, dude. It's
not going to work.
I don't know what it is because I've been proven wrong like 7 times. Like, in fact, when glue pulling first came out, I thought it was dumb.
Yeah.
Here I am making glue pulling tools, right? So
some of the best.
Ricky Box came out. I'm like, that's dumb. You're gonna burn the paint. Now I have one. Like every time, cold glue, especially, like that's stupid. I want my glue to stick. I want it to not stick.
Yeah.
Right? So that's dumb. And I tried it a couple times. I still think it's dumb. And then I just needed the right setup. Now it's like it's in our hands all day. It's like it's a super productive tool. So I just keep trying to tell myself, when a new tool comes out, just get it and practice. Just do it.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
Give it a go.
That was a stupid tool and remained a stupid tool, and we all make fun of it. It was something called the glue pot. It was a candle warmer, and you put your old glue in it, and then you remelt it, and then you dip your tab in it, so you have to buy more glue. And the guys are like, this is awesome. A bunch of people bought it, and I was like, that's stupid. I didn't buy it, and it turned out to be stupid. It was the only time I was right, but everything else is good. So like, I keep like resisting new tools, but
Andy Patrick always talks about that glue pot, and I think in like 90% of his podcast videos, he's always like ragging on the glue pot. I think I'm gonna buy him one.
Put a Ginger Bros sticker.
Yeah, a Ginger Bros glue pot.
No, we'll give him a Smash Masters one. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
But now, like, that's some of my advice too. If it's something new comes out, just embrace it. Like, there's a reason it got on your radar in the first place.
Mhm.
Probably, if more than one person said it's cool, it's probably amazing.
It's probably amazing. So, about for a lot of people that don't know, I've been kind of keeping up with the advanced skill seminar and stuff because I plan to go next year. I can't this year, but I plan to do it next year. But for those who don't really know about it or might be kind of interested in it, set up for next year also, what does that look like, and how can people find that?
So the genesis of the advanced skills seminar was, we had the podcast, Shane and I, and we were talking about not as many like techniques on the podcast. It was more like, what are your sales processes? How did you develop your pricing? What are you billing out? What are you doing per day? Can you do more? What if you skipped lunches? It was all around like optimizing the business of dent repair. Because a lot of us could do a great job with sheet metal, but an awful job on everything else. Because, none of us, not none of us, but almost none of us went to business school or even have degrees. We're just dudes who like using our hands, and we found our way into this trade and we're good at it, and we're figuring the rest out. So
That's what I'm doing now. Is I'm in that boat, figuring all that other stuff that's not pushing dance out.
and there's a
So
ton of it, and it's important.
yeah,
Once you can fix a car, those things become the most important. So that was the genesis of the podcast, and we talked about that, and we developed a really loyal following that kind of resonates with this idea of trying to get better at their business and better at their trade. And along with that, of course, we talked about tools. It just wasn't like the main focus of the podcast. But then once we kind of started interviewing different people and realizing, gosh, there's some real studs hiding in the corners of the world. We'd interview them, and then we just decided, what if we just got everybody in one place? And then it's not something that happens. It's like it isn't available anywhere else. I can go to Kaz or I can go to Bryce, but that's a big investment. What if we got them to come to the Mobile Tech Expo a couple days early, and we just put everybody in a warehouse and we just nerd out on their dents? We learn what they do. We share best practices, and that was the beginning, and it's been amazing. And not only do we get to bring all these experts from the four corners and put them in a building, but all the people attending, they're just like you, right? They're guys who wanted to be the best in their markets. They're willing to pay money and spend their time. So all of the guys who went in the early years, they developed a lot of really great friendships and alliances, and went on to work and start businesses together, because it's like, these are your core people. If you in this industry and you want to be the best and you're willing to put in time and energy, these guys are your buddies. Like, they see the world just the way you do, and they're all really good techs already to start, because it's not really a great investment if you can't fix a dent yet. And if you don't have a business, right? But if you have a business and you have customers coming in on a regular basis, and you're able to change your sales strategies and your pricing and see like an immediate change in your business, it's a super valuable thing to do. So we've just been evolving it over the years, and sometimes changing it, sometimes really it's like a rinse and repeat. But as the years go on, the techniques change, because like the early one didn't have any shrinky box stuff that didn't really exist. Now that has to be a part of it, because we're expected as techs to do so much more, so much bigger damage, and stretches are just part of it. If you can't get the stretch out, you can't fix it. So like, even though we're not necessarily reinventing the advanced skills seminar, the industry is reinventing itself as we go, and we're just trying to keep up with it.
Yeah. So I heard you guys talk about dents, maybe like in the earlier, like I'm not like later 90s, early 90s, 2000s.
Yeah.
Were they as good then as they are now? I heard you and Shane kind of mention that, and he was like, when he was at the BMW plant, he's like, yeah, they were just as good. The techniques and stuff evolved kind of from that, but at the same time, do you think has the collision damage always been there, or is that are we kind of just stepping into new territories?
I don't think it's always been there. It hasn't been there in my experience. There might have been some guys like Kaz and Arlson that were doing stuff like that, but their games are evolving too. Like Kaz never showed any lateral tension stuff in his repairs. And he was fixing rolled over cars in the early
Yeah.
2000s with PDR. But some of the stuff he did was large format glue pulling before it was cool. He had tabs that were this big, and he just like 17 pounds of glue that he never took off, like torching it, pulling up a whole piece of a rail. Like,
Yeah.
The collision stuff really hasn't been there on the grand scale like it is now. Just everyone's understanding. The tension has been the biggest change in smash repair in the last few years. Because
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
completely changed. Like we used to muscle the entire panel out, right? And the way I explain it to customers now or guys that don't understand it is like it's with an object lesson. I got this envelope here. Like if you set it up and you smash this thing, right? And it stays like this. The perimeter of the panel comes closer, right? It comes closer just a little bit. And what we were doing in years past is just like trying to smash it back out without ever putting the perimeter of the panel back where it's supposed to be. Now, when it's smashed and we understand that we need to put the edges of the panel back where they are, once that's there, this is no longer under tension, and it's so easy to put back where it goes. You might have a little stretch impact spot that you have to put some effort into. But in years past, we had to push every bit of that smash all over the place, and we're fighting these waves, trying to blend it, get everything out, only because we didn't understand that we needed to do that.
Push it back out. Yeah.
Yeah, put the perimeter back where it was, because it never got touched, right? This thing got hit here. Nothing got touched here, but it all got wrinkled, all from this. So it's like the panel acts like a steel cable on the pull. So that it gets hit here. These cables are pulling the edges of the panel all towards the center like ropes.
Yep.
But you can't push ropes. You have to pull them again, right? So you have to glue on those edges and pull them. You guys know all this as body tech.
Yeah.
Right.
But as vent guys, like we never made that leap because I don't know why.
I don't think anybody was listening to Marty Runick at the time when he was trying to tell that.
That's why Marty's day one at our seminar this year.
Yes, man, that's going to be so awesome.
Was talking about all this, and none of us were listening. So I'm like, Marty, I feel like a kid who's apologizing to his dad after you were telling me not to get that tattoo of the eagle on my back. And but yeah, Marty was doing all this stuff. He's got a panel stretching machine in his training room that we're bringing down to the seminar so he can teach on it. And he's got a bunch of other old school tricks that it's like just stuff that he's been doing forever that nobody is picking on their radar. So the advanced skills seminar is all about like us curating all these experts and just bringing them to the physical place where you have all of their attention and they have yours for 4 days.
4 days of solid. I don't know if you would call it dense stardom, guys. just out here giving you the most information you could possibly retain.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we'll have Paul Cord in there too. Like once you can fix something, you got a whole nother battle on can you price it and can you sell it? Can you get it?
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you, most of that fight is right there inside your own cranium.
Oh, I know. Like I was telling them earlier, me starting this and going out and doing mobile stuff because that's what I'm doing now. It's just mobile. I don't have like a real retail shop or anything, but yeah, I'll price something. I'll go out there and yeah, I can do it, and then I'll walk away and go, oof, I don't know how I'm gonna fix that.
That's what you're supposed to feel like.
Yeah, and then I'm like, man, I'll just worry about it when I get here.
No, I will. Right? You won't leave until you get it right. If it's not right, I'll come back tomorrow.
Yeah, you can. And yeah, the staring at a light all day will kind of mess with you, and then you can come back. And we always did that in the body shop too. If we just get something where it's not working right or something's not fitting, that's usually when lunchtime or the end of the day is. So it's just,
So I did mobile repairs exclusively up until this year. We have a shop now, but we didn't before. 6 guys, all mobile, all the time. And my belief is strongly that you're going to lose a ton of money if you have to go back out on that job again. Now you have to drive home for free. You have to drive back for free, right? You have to break down your tools and reset up. All that's free. So I try everything. I'll stay 3 hours. I'd rather stay 3 hours late and finish it than go home and come back again. Just like I've always watched hours and productivity. And sometimes you have to. It's like there's no two ways about it. You have to. That's fine. Or you planned it. Like this is going to be a 3-day job. That's part of the process. But when you expect it to be done at 4 and it's 5 and you're not done, you're even going deeper in the hole if you go home and come back again. Like you got to just
Oh, yeah.
put the phone on do not disturb and figure this thing out if you care about the dollars and the hours.
Yep.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well, and I'm not. I I've got the dense stuff along, but I don't have the dense speed there.
Yeah.
I've got the like I said, I got the well. I'll figure it out as I go along. I might might not be impressive at knocking dents out in 15 minutes, but I do sit there until I get it to where you can look at it all angles and you can't see it's there. And to me, that's the most important thing.
100%. That's how I train guys. I'm like, I don't care how fast you are, and I don't care how long it takes for you to get it perfect. You're going to get it perfect. Then, when you can do that, you can determine what if you want to jump off the train early. You can determine if you're just doing it for some dealer. But if I let you get off this thing at 90% every time, and somebody needs it 100, you don't have it in the tank, dude. You've never done it before, so you got to
Mhm.
stay and grind it out. I'm a kind of a mean trainer.
And there's really it's really not that far away once you get it to that 95-7% mark. Like, well, that's probably good enough, because you've been sitting there sweating at it all day. You feel like, especially if it's a big dent, but you can really step back, change your lighting angle, and just I don't know, maybe take a break or something, and just get that last little bit that you were missing.
If you catch yourself saying stuff like, "Man, for what they're paying for this," like, you're on the wrong track, dude.
Yeah,
They're making
yeah,
excuses about why it's not perfect. Man, they're never gonna see this. Man, it's a
mm,
used car. Like, oh man, you gotta be able to glass it no matter what, and then you can turn it off if you need to. Then it's fine. But if you don't have,
yeah.
so you're doing,
Usually,
Nick, you're doing the right thing. Just stay slow and work on until it's done. The speed will come super fast.
yeah. Usually, what I'm saying is, man, for what I'm charging them, I better get this right. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't ever say the other route.
There's another thing that I learned. It's fun talking to you guys because like you're earlier on in the career, you have a million things that you're going to encounter, and I forget about a lot of this stuff. And I've talked about all these things on the podcast before, but one of the things that I learned at the Mobile Tech Expo was watching the Dent Olympics. I competed in it a few times, and I did great repairs, but they were not great enough to. I think my best placing was 10th, 12th.
Mm,
Right, so
Mm.
I did it a few times. I'm like, all right, I would be happy with all these repairs. These are great. I could sell them, but the level of the guys who win, they're literally perfect, and I'm not able to get there in 45 minutes. So I never won, but I was like happy with what I did. Well, there was another guy named Dave that we were friends on this forum full of dent nerds, and he's like, I don't know what you guys are making such a big deal about these dents. These are like 15-minute dents. I'm like, well, just wait till you get there, bro. You'll see they're not 15-minute dents. And he came out, and I was like, I'm just going to sit right here and watch Dave drown in the deep end on this 15-minute dent. And he got like a plastic tip behind this thing and he moved it so fast, but he finished it in around 15 minutes. And it was a respectable repair. I don't think he won or anything. He didn't win, but it looked
yeah.
good. It was a great repair. And I'm like, oh, another thing I've learned. I've been too scared to move metal fast. Little tiny pushes and keeping the whole thing super tidy, and I run out of time. And I think
Mm,
I actually overstretch the dent sometimes because I'm beating it up too much, even though it looks clean. Whereas Dave got right underneath and like, and like
Yep.
I was like, dude, that thing's going to be a mess, and it wasn't. It was clean. So I learned
Right.
from him that I'm going too slow. There's a lot more speed that I'm leaving on the table just by being too cautious. So that was great. It was a great lesson for me, like in humility and like being open to what I'm doing is not the best. There's always a better way to do it. Let me just look and pay attention to the way other guys are doing things. Because even somebody who's terrible, you can pick up something that they're doing that's interesting or better, or even just an additional thing that you can put into your toolkit.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
I've seen the Mo clamp trick, but I'm sure a lot of people haven't before, and they're like, "Oh, I have one of those, and that's perfect. I get the
Hmm.
leverage right there." So it's just like just watching and listening and being open minded, you can figure so many things out.
Yeah, that was all I had to work with. And, they got, well, they got the little hangy ratchet hangers for those doors. And I didn't even think of that. And the whole time I'm sitting here, I've got my hatch hanger and I set it up here and I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So I'm thinking like body guy stuff, I'm like, what am I going to do? I got to bolt something to this frame so I can leverage off of it. I look at that and that shiny tool sitting there and I'm like, that's perfect.
Have you guys seen taking the gangrene straps and like for the bottom of a bedside, gluing them to hang down and putting the tool through the strap and then using the strap as leverage when it's glued to the outside of the panel?
Done it.
Yeah, super great trick for the bottom of bedsides. But there's a million of those, and the cool thing about them is that you can make your stuff up. Like you can just make weird stuff up, and if it works, it's right. I love
Yeah.
that. It's like that creativity is super super fun.
See you,
It's
Clive,
getting
man.
light. Oh my God. Clive is in the UK.
He's in the UK and he stayed up all night just to come hang out with us. So
Got an uphill battle over there, man. It's tough for them to get the right money in the UK. I've known quite a few guys out there, and they're like, "Dude, we do everything the same way that you guys do. The customers just don't have their pockets are not as deep as the US guys. It's just different."
yeah, and they don't have this a lot of the same stuff we have too,
Yeah,
like
Maybe.
all the different push tips and stuff. I don't think they have.
world economy now, they can get all that stuff if they wanted.
Yeah,
So we're
yeah,
talking, all the same websites we know, but their conventional prices are super low, and
mhm.
Yeah.
they don't have the stigma there of how bad it is to paint a car. It seems like a lot of the clients don't care. One of the reasons, one of like the first conversations that started the PDR college was Shane and I just having personal conversations, and he was the I can't get the prices in my market that you get in yours guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm in Northern California. He's like, they just don't pay what you guys pay because my prices were pretty aggressive.
Hmm.
And the famous point that we always made on the show is like, I was like, Shane, how much is a brand new S500 in Greenville, South Carolina? It's the same as the price here in Northern California, right? And people are driving them there and they're driving them here. So they don't change the prices because it's Greenville, and you don't need to change them because it's Greenville. If there's a Mercedes and a Porsche and a BMW dealer in your town, they're not going to build them there if the clients don't live there. The money's hiding for dents. It's just you're stuck in your head thinking they don't have it. They talk in their good old boy slang, and they have a different way of hemming and hawing before they make a purchase, and then you're thinking they just don't have the money. But it's there. Cars cost the same. It costs the same to insure and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Too, but that was the genesis of us going back and forth and having fun conversations about it.
I've heard you guys mention that on the PDR College podcast. But when did you actually start that? It was in 2014.
I think it was 14. Yeah, 10 years ago, pretty wild.
Yeah, so you've gotten a pretty big following and a pretty good uh, podcast show out of that. Probably learned a lot of stuff over the years. Just
So much. Podcasting is great because even if nobody ever listens to your show, you guys get to have a great conversation about your business, about what you're doing, about what you plan on doing, and you have a guest on, you get to learn what they're doing.
Yep.
And as a bonus, people will listen to it and they enjoy it too. But even if the show never left your computer, it's still worth doing for you guys.
Right.
So I feel like it's a cheat code. It's like not only do I get to help others, but I get to help myself. And I can't come on the show when we were just talking about raising prices. I can't come on and say, well, I'm not going to raise my prices. You guys should raise yours, but I'm not going to do mine. You have to audit your own stuff, and you really look at your business like you're going to explain it to someone else and go, I think I got some work to do. And there's always work to do. Like whatever you think you got down, there's more stuff to work on. Ryan, man, I appreciate everybody using the tabs.
I do too, by the way.
Yeah, I have a gigantic set of those, and honestly, those are the only ones I haven't broken. I haven't broken a single tab.
So my first engineer that I worked with was right here in my same hometown, and he had connections in China. and that's how the first black plagues were. The big ones were made in China, and we
Okay.
stopped that because they would just ship me different materials than were spec'd out, and I couldn't do anything about it. But that engineer, he's like, okay, um, we want to make them really good, but not last forever. I'm like,
Hmm.
no, no, that's an awful idea because we use these to make our living. Like that's the worst idea I've heard all year. He's like, but they're going to buy them once, and then they're never going to have to buy them again. I'm like, well, yeah, I don't want to make a garbage tab on purpose. What are you even talking about? I'm like, nobody would buy tabs that break all the time. And then like, who's laughing now with all these skinny neck tabs? You get like 5 pulls, and everyone's like, these are awesome, dude. I'm gonna buy them 5 more times. I'm like, all right, I guess the back to me. I should listen to the people who share ideas with me. I should have made my tabs crappy on purpose because I would have sold you guys a lot more tabs. But those gangrene tabs are bomb proof, dude. They're super hard to break. Like it's almost
Yeah.
impossible to break. You can break
Yeah, they
these once in a while, but the bigger ones, like it's almost almost impossible.
yeah, I've got to get more of the smaller ones because I've got the bigger ones, for doing
Yep.
Yeah,
collision and stuff. But I got to get some smaller ones. But um, yeah, I I got a year out of the Kiko ice tabs before I started breaking a bunch of those, and um, I'm gonna say that that's pretty good,
super.
even on those skinny ones. But I don't think you can have too many tabs, can you?
Yeah, I've told people like just because my tabs are good, like you still need all the other brands because when you get really good at glue pulling, every dent is organic in its shape, and you look at it, you
Hmm.
go, kind of want just like a little crease tab, but it has some depth in it. No, no, no. This one
Yep.
Hmm.
here. So you can't have too many, and they're so cheap compared to what you're doing. It's silly to
Yep.
have a few. So even though I make the stuff, I still have other brands. I have Lakas and I have some um, uh, Kiko Dead Center tabs and Centipede tabs and a lot of different tabs. I mean, you'd be silly not to have a bunch of different
Yep.
Yeah, that and yeah, you don't know like when doing hail. I've been having a lot of hail jobs at where I'm at. If you got to do a lot of glue pulling, I've just got like the variety pack stuff,
ones.
that has one or two of each in it, and that's not really going to cut it on a
Mhm.
hail job
You can't
nine
do.
times out of ten.
You can muscle your way through it, but you need a lot more small tabs and to be able to drop a few on the floor and not have to go chasing them down.
Yeah, and I've lost a few by popping them and they go and you'll never see them again. But
That's that's
Did-
originally why they're green. To be honest with you, the first generation were dark gray.
Oh.
They were
yeah,
they'd fall into a trunk and they're gone forever. You know they're there, but you can't see them. Now they're
yeah.
green color. You can
You,
track them down.
you need that Cam Auto slide hammer with the tab saver.
Yeah,
I love that thing.
it's awesome products.
Yeah.
I'm curious about hail cars with the stage that you're at. How do you feel like you're doing pricing?
Price wise,
Mhm.
um, I started lower than what I probably should or could, but I felt like I was pricing it to where I was comfortable. And none of this stuff until this last job that I've got, none of this stuff has been really like beat to death,
Light.
So it's been light and it's been light on aluminum. So um, I've gotten no, let me see, probably 4 or 5 aluminum cars, F-150s, and uh, the Broncos that I've done, and I'm working on a red Camaro now that looks like it had like baseball bat size dents in it. It's freaking huge.
Toast.
It seems like each little dent is either in a brace or in that foam or the spray on
Yeah.
dampening crap that's under it, and I'm just having to figure out how to push a stretch dent through all that stuff without either scraping it off or something. But I still priced it lower than
What
probably what somebody else would do, but it was under my one really to I guess get my name and stuff established, and two to get practice and be sure that when I'm done with it, I'm confident enough, and people are confident in me enough to where they call me to write another one. You know, I can come out and they won't have to question me for anything.
Yeah. Those were at body shops.
Body shops, yeah.
So you're using a matrix in Mobile Tech RX to write them.
Hmm.
Yeah. What did
Yeah.
you light on? What,
Do I know?
yeah. What were you light on if you're using the matrix?
Oh, well, I would say that I if I had oversized dents or dents the size of quarters, a few of them I just wrote nickel sized and stuff. I left all that kind of stuff out, or I would put if you got to glue pull certain panels or it's high strength steel on a body line, I would leave a lot of that stuff off. I would just say like R&I, the heat shield, and so many nickel sized dents.
Yeah. Well, at least you know where you're deficient. I'd agree with you. The reason I'm digging into that is for the other people listening, and for you, for that matter, that hail cars, everybody leaves a ton of money on the table.
Hmm.
Not everybody, but there's some guys who know how to ride them really strong, uh, and but most guys will miss a lot of things, and you could be missing 1,000, 2,000 bucks on a car easy. And those beat cars are hard, man. They take a ton of time.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And yeah, like saying that, I don't have a good strong process. Like maybe Shane goes out, he's killing it. He knows a process. He goes out here and writes it heavy in and out. I don't have a process built up. I don't know what that looks like for me yet. So I wrote it. So just in case if I did mess something up and I had to fix it, then there's room there to fix it. Where if I tried to get every little single thing and tried to argue my way up, now I have to meet that standard. And it gave me time to uh, get it. I'm gonna say as best as I can. All of them near perfect, and yeah, it was good.
the biggest one is what you mentioned: oversized dents.
Yeah.
The Matrix prices are awful. If you
Hmm.
just go without any markups, they're awful. You would never refix a car for that. So you got to the oversize is any whisper in the reflection over the $50 size, like the
Hmm.
whole reflection, right? Anywhere where the line starts to deviate in the light, that's where you mark it. So an oversized dent is actually quite small and manageable. But in your mind, oversized is just the nasty two or three stretched ones that are going to be awful to fix. But if you put that light really far back and mark where the reflection changes and throw a $50 piece in there and it's bigger, that's oversized. So it's
Hmm.
not a big deal to have 8 oversized on a hood, 15 on a roof, and a couple on other places, and all of a sudden that's 2 grand in oversized dents that are easy to document and prove with a photo at the $50 with the reflection outside of it. So that's really if I could say there's one thing that you need to make sure you're doing right is oversized if you're playing the matrix game.
Yeah, I looked into it. Of course, I was new to writing the estimates and wearing all the hats and stuff. I've got a few of those, and people are more confident in me, so I can kind of push up that dollar amount and stuff.
It's
But
right on their sheet, right? They say if it's over this, we pay this.
yeah.
That's the DRP game. You have to make money on those cars. You have to use oversized
Hmm.
and the up charges.
Yeah, you got to make sure that you get. And I've seen people argue with them saying they're not paying for high strength steel panels or on body lines, or they're not paying, whatever the case is. I've seen where they have tall vehicle. Um, they put time in for tall vehicles and such, and they're like, "Nah, we're not paying for that."
Yeah,
Which, I like I said, I was kind of stepping in and seeing where I can start pushing people, like, and to get my confidence up too after I get
you
one
got to
or two.
you so you know you can go toe to toe with the guy and say nope,
Yeah.
not how it
Yeah.
needs to be.
Yeah, the more of these that I get to doing, and each one I get a little, you get that under your belt, you get those wins, and then you get more confidence to, like, where you can look somebody dead in the eye and don't even have an inch of doubt in your mind or your face. You can wear that, but you can tell them, nah, this is what we're doing. And yeah, I'm getting there to that point.
Yeah, I mean you're still pretty new in your journey, so like A
Yeah.
hail car is a tough animal to get thrown at you.
They have been very tough. They have been very tough. That is no shortage of difficult work. So somebody who can go in with a good process and kill that stuff, man.
It's amazing, dude. When Shane and I had a hailstorm out here in California in 2019, and I hadn't I had seen some hail guys, but we had some super studs working on out there, and to see these guys how fast they got through these cars and how clean, like perfect repairs. Not like perfect for the customer, but perfect for me. I'm putting a light on it and looking and like, damn, dude, this car
Mhm.
glass, and they were fast. Doing two and a half cars a day when I could barely get through one. Like, that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
When you know what, when you think about hail techs, like when you're doing side panels and stuff, you might do, say you're going to work 5 days, you might do 3 cars in a day, so call it 15 cars. Maybe they all have 5 dents on it, right? It's like 75 dents
Yeah.
for your whole week. These dudes are going to do 75 dents on one panel, and they're going to
Right.
do 12 panels a day times 5. There's
Yeah.
absolutely no way you can do the volume that a hail guy does. Just get the reps. So many reps. Like he's going to do 5 years of your work in 1 year. So he's
Mhm.
really like, and he's not going to do creases. He's not going to do smashes. He's not taking things apart. He's strictly doing little round dents, and they're freaking good at it.
Yeah.
So,
That is phenomenal. And I was uh, I don't know. Your confidence level's kind of low just starting those, but after I started getting that one down, I was like, dang, I think I can really be pretty good at this. And each one I've done, I've gotten better and gained more knowledge about this stuff. And this one I was doing, talking about stretch dents. I don't have a shrinky box or anything, but I was using sharp tools to gather up metal. And Stefan was, wanting to try that technique and learn it for himself. But that's hard uh, to get down, especially when you're pushing through all
yeah.
that stuff, and you don't over push or miss. That's
I'll be honest with you. In my experience, like I know that that's the textbook answer: is a sharp dent will shrink up, a sharp tool will shrink up a dent. I've never really experienced it. Like you can fix them with blunt tips, you can fix them with sharp tips.
hmm
Stretch, they're freaking stretched. But the one thing that I have seen that isn't a shrinky box that can keep them under control now is putting them under tension. If
hmm
they're a
Hmm.
little bit deep, putting them under tension with the straps, right on either side of the dent, and just putting a few 100 pounds of pressure on it, it keeps that thing from you initiating the stretch into it, right?
the
It'll
vibrating of the panel.
dent instead of flexing the whole thing up. You stretch it. Like most of the stretch in the oil cans, we induce. It's not
hmm
stretched yet. It's still nice and strong before we get there.
Overworking it.
Right. So
Yeah.
when you put it under tension, it just lets you apply that pressure right to the sheet metal without flexing it. And I've had dents that I was pretty sure I was going to have to shrink, but I didn't need to with them under tension. So I'd fool around with that if you have the stuff and you have some deep stuff.
I have a small amount of tension tools. I don't have a whole lot, like a nice palette to choose from. Um,
You don't
but
need a ton of stuff. You can be pretty creative.
Hey, what's up, Shane?
yeah,
Shane Meyer's in the house.
speaking of, that's a pretty seasoned hail guy right there.
There's a lot of them out there. They're
A lot.
it's very impressive.
It
I don't
is.
mind telling you, I'm not that fast.
Oh, I'm not either. I'm not. But I try to make my stuff look as good as possible, whether it you know at no matter how long it takes me, and sometimes it takes me quite a while. So I've been getting that under my belt before I try to go up and start adding every little single minute thing on the ticket for them.
Well, you should start.
I agree with Stefan.
You should start.
We don't know
Yeah,
each other well, but I'd be kind of up in your business a little harder if we if we were. It's like
yeah
right now it's going to take you longer than it's ever going to take you. Now is exactly when you need all that money.
I need all that, that motivation and stuff because like I said, I'm just out here doing like you guys talk about, not
Yeah.
like you say, the fear is only in your mind about stuff. What are they
Yeah.
going to tell you? No, but at the same time,
If we're getting loose and calling each other out, like this situation where if you're trying to establish your relationship with the body shop with lower prices, and then until you're confident you're going to raise them, that's hard for them to deal with too. Like this guy used to be a really, the prices were low and now the prices are higher, and I don't know how to deal with that.
mhm.
You have to dig out of a hole that you're creating for yourself, coming in with lower prices. So I say, if you want to do that, my best recommendation is to price it the way it's supposed to be, present it to them, and then tell them you're going to give them a discount for whatever reason, but still establish what that value is before
Yeah,
anything starts. And then you can charge whatever you want. But if you come in
Good
at
info.
50% of the price, how do they know that that's not what the real price is? Then when you
Right.
come back and it's twice as expensive, they're like, man,
mm,
I don't know what this guy's way overcharging us. We know he did a great job on him. I mean, he did him for $5,000 before. Now he wants 12.
yeah,
The guy's greedy.
yeah. He's greedy. Yeah. That's it's some of the stuff hasn't really been that much, but it's like I said, instead of writing quarter on some of the stuff, I wrote nickel on it, and I didn't add for a lot of that other factors that come in. I would leave those off. Um,
Most hail
and
guys have never seen a nickel dent.
Yeah, I know. And I didn't even know that honestly until I had gotten talking with other people, and they're like, "No,
It's
that's all."
because the Matrix is a stupid game that's not based in reality. But
Hmm.
what I like to look at, and I don't wish I had one because I hate them, but I wish I had one to teach what I'm talking about. If you look at like the first category, right, it's 1 to 5 dents,
Hmm.
right, and it pays a dollar value to repair whatever it is. But then as we get up, so that's 5 dents, right? As
Yeah.
we get up into the higher categories, it's 76 to 100. So
Hmm.
this panel pays the same if it's 76 or 100. So there's 24 dents that have no value that you have to fix. But if I take them at 24 and I put them on 4 different panels, they have value again.
Hmm.
If they're 1 to 5s, you have to pay me to fix them. But if I take them and I cram them on a panel with 75 other dents, now they're free. It doesn't make any sense. They all have to be fixed exactly the same. It's not like you have the dent machine and you just mow it over the panel and they come out, right? Every single one
Yeah.
touched the same way. Why would 26 be free? Because I'm already doing 76. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I noticed that, and like Shane says, he didn't see dimes or nickels. Well, you know, when um,
make
I
sense.
haven't been around a bunch of
That
bunch of
that
hell guys,
matrix
so I
was
didn't know.
created so that some dude could do a rough estimate of 1,000 cars in a parking lot
Hmm.
fast, and it somehow
Hmm.
worked into a repair plan, which is nonsense, dude. I get really mad about it. But if you
Yeah.
want the insurance's deep pockets, you got to play their games, and their game is that stupid sheet. So I'm like, hey, if we're going to create a sheet that's based in nonsense, then I'll also create a sheet that's based in nonsense. And I'm not saying I'll make up damage that isn't there, but I will use every piece of that matrix to the fullest so that it represents a fair number to get this thing paid to fix. That idea that the categories have these gaps blows my freaking mind.
Hmm.
To the body,
Yeah.
right? Like cap your clear. Like this is all we're paying for clear. Like
Well,
we're
how
gonna
does
clear
that work?
the side of the truck, dude. Like what do you mean this is they're capping the clear?
Hmm.
Do you want me to
Yeah.
cap the clear and just stop painting when it runs out? It's like
That's always been funny.
it's more nonsense.
Hmm.
This industry could really fire you up if you spend too much time in the administrative part. It's like none of this
Uh,
is reality.
even from our side.
Really, it's reality.
Yeah, yeah, that's why we got this spot where we can talk about both of them in
It is.
Right.
one spot.
You need to know both areas to be really successful. So you guys have an advantage coming from where you are to where you're going because you know, we do more claims now in a year than I did in the first 15 years of my business. So we were the insurance alternative.
Right.
Hmm.
Now that we're pricing stuff at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grand for a side panel damage, getting claims because nobody wants to pay out of pocket. But now we, as an industry, like we just did a podcast on this probably a month ago. Like as a PDR industry, we are not ready for insurance work. Our processes aren't right. Our estimates are not uniform. Our follow up with the insurance companies and the way we handle adjusters, it's not dialed in. Hail guys are a lot better because that's their business. But side
Yeah.
business, like regular retail guys, we're awful as an industry at dealing with the insurance companies. So you two guys will have an advantage. At least you know the game you're playing.
Yeah, like if I had to start over and not be in collision work and just go into PDR, that would be borderline scary, I think. Just because there's like, what like you said earlier, talking about you have to write the sheet as a whole. Like if I didn't know anything about a car, if I didn't know what was behind a lot of the panels, I didn't know how it came apart and know any of that stuff. How am I going to write that efficiently?
Yeah,
Much less fix it.
yeah, you figure out a lot. But
Yeah.
the other superpower you guys have is R&I. You are not body guys are not afraid to just grip it and rip it out. And once you do it once and break all the clips, then you know where they all are, and then it comes out clean. But
Hmm.
Right.
I've always said like you can do that because you just go to a parts guy and you go, I need 9 more of these, and you go back to work. But when you're a mobile guy and you break 7 clips, you're like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to the dealer while this car's halfway apart and trying to find 7 of these weird clips and driving back, and there's half my day. So we have to
Yeah.
be super ginger about taking things apart, or we just get scared and go, I don't know how this comes out. I don't want to break it here and have to drive back. So
Yeah, that's the good part about being a body guy. And you got like 7 boxes of clips that you either robbed off used panels or parts that you can
Totals.
just totals that
Yep.
you spent tearing down the car. Now they're just going to ship it off, and you have that crap everywhere. So
yeah,
clips and stuff is not really that hard to find for us.
And knowing honestly, I mean, I know if I'm pulling on a plastic panel, I know when it's gonna break, so I've got a certain gauge, and then I can look and see, okay, there's a clip there, pop that one, okay, now I can see further, like, so I mean,
Mm.
it's I can take things apart gingerly, or I can rip them apart, and if I'm out there doing a mobile PDR job, obviously I'm being ginger. Is what I mean. That's where the experience comes in, and
Hmm.
I'm able to do that. So
hey Ted,
Plus the
thanks
tools.
for that comment, bro. I appreciate that, and I'm glad to see you're back on your feet.
hey, what's up, Ted?
Yeah, that's he's doing pretty good. It looks like.
Okay, Ted's tools are actually a great example. His tips, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
If I'm just being honest, I'm like, I don't know about a whale tail tip, dude. Whale tail is skinny on purpose to get into a brace. But everybody's like, these tips are rad. So
Mm-hmm.
I know they're awesome because enough
Yep.
guys have told me they're awesome, but I didn't buy them yet because just I'm always fighting myself to just bring on the new things. I forgot about that. That's a great example. They're new, they're different. It's not the way you're used to thinking about it. Just get them. If 5 guys said they're awesome, they're awesome. Get them, and you'll be super happy, and you won't wait a year and a half until it's like everybody's telling you to get them. Just get
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you look at it and you're like, I got this new tip, and I'm like, we've had that for years, dude. What are you doing?
yeah, that's
they
old.
are they are great. I do have Ted's
Yeah,
tips,
everybody
and
loves
they are great. So
I see his stuff all over the place now.
it. Yeah.
I haven't bought any, but I'm gonna get some here soon.
So Ted, if you're still on, reach out, send me a DM if you want me to carry him on Black Blade. We can talk about that.
there you go.
Nice,
Very
nice.
nice. Well, fellas, I mean, I think Keith, we've had you on for over an hour here, so
I could talk about this stuff all night.
it's just so could we, honestly.
Yeah, yeah.
But I really appreciate you coming on.
Dude, I love it.
Um,
Like I said, I'm really sorry I wasn't here right at the beginning of the show like I planned, but thanks for the grace.
no
Man, that's
worries.
ain't no worries. We had plenty to talk about. You know how it is when you get on here and banter back and forth. You know. you ain't watching the clock, it can go for a long, long time.
Amazing how fast the time goes, right? Like 1 hour, you're like, man, we didn't even get that deep into this conversation. More
Yeah.
questions to ask.
No,
Yeah.
not at all. Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap up. I'm just gonna throw you in the back room. Just hold on. Don't take off yet.
I do my best work.
All right. All right. So Nick, that was a great show. Honestly, it's I really enjoyed talking to you.
2 hours and 40 minutes of podcasting hangout time.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for?
Gene agrees. Great show. Ted's still there, so yeah, he heard you. Yeah. So next week we have Kiko 5-day glue pulling training.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm
That's
psyched.
gonna be fun.
I'm
That's gonna be
psyched.
fun.
I think we're gonna have time to go live from there, if not during the day, at least at night. So expect a Smash Masters episode next week.
Yeah, at the Kiko training. So
in Oklahoma. Yep. Oh, you got
Be
anything
awesome.
else? You got anything else, Nick?
No. I think we can let everybody go and continue the work week. I'm glad
Yeah.
they stayed up and hung out as long as they did, though. That's nice.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Really
I
appreciate
appreciate you guys, man, very much.
All right. Bye, everybody.
We'll see you guys.